Doesn't matter if you have one ass cheek and 3 toes. I will beat your ass.
We some lions, don't let the boys get loose. About to play with our food any day that we choose. We some lions, got them all listening. Time to make history, I want a victory. Lions, don't let the boys get loose. About to play with our food any day that we choose. We some lions, got them all listening. Time to make history, I want a victory. Lions, don't let them boys get loose. It's a new day, Honolulu Blue got the boys on a crusade. Campbell throwing dukes, got golf at the Wings game. Hear his name replay and replay and replay. Got him off the leash every Sunday. David Montgomery, Gibbs on the runway. Take a shot at Jameson and stumble out the hallway. Running in the hutch any day, that's a bad day. They don't wanna bring us up, keep us off the airways. America's team, sick of dealing with these cowboys. Keep it in your hostess, you've been cheating like an off day. We got Slim Shady, you too caught up in Beyonce. Welcome to Detroit, all that grit can go a long way. Panay drawn lines in the ground like a driveway. Trucking up L's at a porter, that's a bad name. Sinners need saints, put our faith in the mom's hands. Lions, don't let the boys get loose, about to play with us.
Welcome to the show. I am your host, Nate the Great, and this is the One Ass Cheek and 3 Toes. And today we have a hell of a show. We have people from all over fan bases, and we have Mr. Lamar from the Spirit of Detroit. We are happy to have him here. Always happy to have another Lions fan get us some perspective. So we're going to go ahead and get this started. We got a lot to talk about. I'm going to introduce my guys. Where are you at, fellas? There he is, Mr. B. Strilla. And Mr. J.
What up? What up? What up?
Always cooking.
And our
Yes,
special
sir.
guest.
And Lamar, Spirit of Detroit. Shout out. How you doing, Lamar?
I'm so glad to be here. I'm glad to.
Man, we're happy to have you.
I love collaborating, man.
Yeah,
love it, man.
for sure. Yeah,
Appreciate
and
it.
no problem. We were talking about this, like, you know, when you have all these different podcasts, it's always good to get different perspectives on what your own team is talking about and what they're thinking and stuff like that. Because, you know, if you have the same people all the time, you kind of know what their tendencies are and all that. But when you bring somebody new on, you never know. Like Forrest Gump said, you never know. Life's like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
So nice to meet you, Lamar. My name is Jay. Obviously one of the toes on this podcast, but I never got to really introduce myself formally. Tell me about yourself, son. Spirit of Detroit.
Yeah. Tell us a little about you.
Well, me personally, I just recently got out the Army. I just recently left.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your support. So I was in the Army 6 years. I had 2 deployments. All the while I had a YouTube channel. I would say I started my YouTube channel in 2020 when Matt Patricia got fired. When Matt Patricia got fired, I was like, I got to start this now. The people I was like brought up under, like the people that was like the most influential in my development was the Luke G's, Syndicate, the There Goes Mobbies, the Micro Mike, of course. Those were like my only, and those were only like my mentors in a way. Like it was mainly just Syndicate and Micro Mike, as well as Raw Detroit. So there were some good mentors that I had, and obviously the space kind of like took off from there because you had Woolworth Sports come in and all these other people come in. So competition has been steep. So, what I try to do on my channel now to diversify, show film study, we do deep dives. We try to be like the conversation that's after what the conversation becomes. So in layman's terms, when Micro Mike and Syndicate break the news, I want you to understand why the news happened. So that's literally my channel in a nutshell.
Nice.
If you haven't seen Spirit of Detroit, but there's a lot of content out there. I produce a lot of content, and then now we got 30 days, less than 30 days to the draft. So
yes, sir.
People are gonna see a lot of content very soon, like all the time. Like it's not gonna be nonstop.
That's awesome, man. Well, you'll appreciate today. Yeah, we appreciate today. Jay's gonna show us some of his videos he put together for some draft prospects.
I'm kind of like a new beginner at that, trying to put together just a couple defensive ends that I like like seeing in the draft. You know, some options the Lions can take in the first and second round. So,
yeah,
you know, I can't wait for that to be debuted.
Lamar, real quick, what made you become a Lions fan? What's your?
Well, I think my, you know, I didn't get into football until, you know, like I would say like 8th grade, maybe 9th grade. So I didn't get into football until then. Before that, I was just anime and stuff like that. You know,
My man.
Yeah, everybody loves anime, man. That's a new generation stuff.
Yeah,
y'all see that?
Yeah, I was out there when it was. What is that? Oh,
that's Naruto.
Oh, okay. I'm more of a. I like Naruto, but that's too long. That's too.
I was a Looney Tunes guy, so B can appreciate that one.
Oh, okay.
Dang.
I'm not a loyal fan. I'm not loyal to them shows that be long. Like One Piece, I fell off One Piece in 2010, and I haven't seen it ever since. But what made me become a Lions fan was I think it was Kevin Jones. Kevin Jones to me was like my favorite player, and just watching him run. He was doing the spin move. He was trucking people. I'm like, this dude is great, but he just had injuries, you know.
Yeah.
And then
I liked Kevin Jones. That was
right. And then you know, John Kitna was like the Stafford model, right? Before he was like the beta versus, you know, the actually polished Stafford, where he's getting beat alive, but he's throwing for 4,000 yards. Now when you look at the, you know, when you go back and look at the stats, some dude only threw 15 touchdowns and they have 4,000 yards. But at the end of the day, like this, you could respect that as a young person seeing that. So I had some players that, you know, I really gravitated to early. I'm like, you know, if this team just rallied around this guy, I'm with it. And then obviously your Ndamukong Suhs came, and your Staffords, obviously, who, you know, I was fond of early on. I wouldn't say nothing bad about Stafford early on up until 2018. And then 2018 is when I fell off the Stafford train. I'd say 2019 when he had that MVP like season and we were still losing. And then
not his fault.
You said what?
Not his fault.
Yeah,
there was other reasons.
You know, playing Detroit, y'all never blame a quarterback. Y'all will never blame a quarterback.
No, that's the first thing they blame. Yeah, that's not me though. I look at the team that's around him that contributes to that.
They problem. Did that with Joey. They did. I've only seen them blame Joey one time.
Yeah.
Ever since then, they didn't blame Jeff Sackers for getting Stafford sacked. They didn't blame Ramirez for literally being crap here, going to the what's the
man? You dropping some names, man. You dropping some names.
Listen,
yeah.
Do you remember that year
the Lions? Broncos, it was elite. That was crazy.
Man, you remember when the Lions came in and they were like one game away from winning the division the first time in like 2 decades nearly, and they went on like a 6-game losing streak, and that's when the Packers came back from behind and won the division. Man, after that, I was like, I'm done.
I was heartbroken. This is when I was heartbroken. When we were 6-2 in 2007, 6-2, and we played Michael Vick. We lost, and I remember Lions fans. This was a preamble to how they treat Hooker and how they treat literally anybody walking through the door. He's just a mobile quarterback. We got this. I'm like, what the heck? Like we just 6-2, and they were 6-2 too. They beat us. We lost the game. We never went back to winning. We went 7-9 that year. We went 7-9 that year, so I think we won one game, and then next year we went 0-16.
Yeah.
So I gotta remember that game.
Yeah. Who was the quarterback that year? Who was the quarterback?
Was that Jeff Garcia?
Jeff. Well, no, it wasn't Jeff. It wasn't Jeff. It was Kitna.
It was
John Kitna. Okay.
You quizzing me.
All right. Real quick. We're gonna have to get started. But I got a real quick question for you, Lamar. You said Kevin Jones is one of your favorite players. I'm gonna take a wild guess and say you're probably younger than 30.
No, actually, I'm about to be 33 next year.
Okay.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So
you said Kevin Jones, and I was kind of like, man, that's a younger player that was, you know, if you're a younger fan.
That's who introduced me to football. Just the way he was running. And just the way he was spin moving and juking, and he was hitting dudes with power. I was like, whoa. And then played with him on the game. He was the best player on the game.
Two people that get blamed in Detroit sports.
Mm-hmm.
The goaltender and the quarterback. I go way before that. Scott Mitchell was one of those guys when he was
Charlie
really
Batch.
Scott Mitchell.
Charlie Batch was okay, but we've had quarterbacks that we just put the blame on all the time.
Really quick, B, you said that the goaltender gets blamed, so that means Sebastian Costa is responsible for the Red Wings?
Any one of the four that they got right now.
That's your last line of defense, man. And they're always going to get blamed.
Always.
All right. Yeah. Well, we got a lot to go, so let's go ahead and get started, boys. So we're going to start first off with UFL opening weekend. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know if y'all caught some of the games. Those Michigan Panthers won today. Man, they whooped that butt. You know, I think I was watching the game. Pretty much was very, very, very dominant game by the Panthers. Samson Nakua, Puka's brother, caught a touchdown, number 86. And then his other brother, pick six, to finish the game. So,
we got highlights.
Yeah, we got highlights. Yeah, let's roll those highlights. Roll that beautiful bean footage.
Roll the clip.
And we're working it out here. Okay, 4th and goal, and he turns it. Look at this guy. Does that give you Lamar Jackson vibes right there? The dude just picks up a fumble, runs around the outside, and then bam! Look at that. He got the fumble. It was a 6-yard touchdown. And then this play right here, this is a designed Lions play, actually, but it went to a receiver. Now, this is the Samson Nakua, brother of Puka Nakua, for a 25-yard pass. Now, usually with the Lions running this set, they usually run the running back where Samson was at. But this is a play that you see most of the time that the Lions run. You notice right here, usually that's Jahmyr Gibbs or Montgomery running out to that set. But that was a receiver one. Okay. This one right here, this is a continuation of this play. Right here, here's the other Nakua brother. This one is Kaya Nakua. Look at that. Dude picked it off. So the Nakua brothers had a hell of a day. They both scored a touchdown, one on defense, one on offense, as the Michigan Panthers go on to win 26-12. And they did a very good job playing. They got one of the best defense in the league, by the way. So that is your highlights there. Yeah.
Yeah. There was a hit by Alexander. He's a linebacker. He legged the crap out of whoever caught that ball. Like, he literally depleted him. Like, I don't know. I'm sure he'll be on a top 10 of Sports Center or something like that.
Robbie DeFeo. Is that his name? Robbie DeFeo said Joey Harrington is the GOAT.
Oh, God.
That's funny.
he's
story.
Funny.
Robbie.
Quick story. I became a Lions fan when my dad was like really excited to get him in the draft that year when he came out, and I'm like, hey, maybe we're going to be good. So that's when I became like a true fan. You know, I was watching them for a while, but my dad was like a huge Joey Harrington fan, and then didn't turn out well at all.
Yeah. All right. I remember Joey Harrington on Thanksgiving, Miami. Got his lick back. He never won on Thanksgiving. He didn't even know that. That's not crazy.
He also did go against some really good teams. Like, I think he went against the Colts. He went against Peyton Manning threw 6 touchdowns in that game. You ain't gonna win a lot of games like that.
Doesn't it always seem like the Lions players that leave have like this vendetta when they come back? They gotta go out and just stick the stake right through the hearts of the Lions. You know,
or they won a Super Bowl. Cliff Evans, Stafford,
Ray Crockett, Willie
Robinson, Darius Slay.
Mm-hmm.
We can number a whole bunch of them.
Yeah,
Man.
All right,
Stafford, hell, Stafford. He's just the current one that won the Super Bowl. There you go.
I'm gonna rein y'all in. So I got a question for y'all, okay, about the UFL, and we're gonna go to the Lions news. So Jake Bates last year obviously made the Lions roster from the UFL, and we're glad he did because Jake Bates is a stud, and I think he's only gonna get better going forward. Who on the current Panthers roster could be the Jake Bates for this team that could possibly make the Lions roster? Give me a name. Oh, sorry.
Cole.
Okay, go ahead.
My
Go ahead,
bad. I don't want to steal anybody's thunder, but
No,
the
you're
center, I Cole can't say his last name. Let me look at it really quick. Cole.
Okay.
Crabble.
Cole Cabral.
Him.
Yeah.
Cabral, I think he'd be a good, not replacement, but he can be like a depth spot for Frank Ragnow, considering, he gets injured. He has an inoperable toe, and sometimes he may have to miss practice. He can have that veteran presence. Yeah. He's been in the NFL with a couple of teams, kind of bounced around, and I think he'd probably be like a good fit for the offensive line.
Yeah, he could probably, if he did make the roster, he could play guard too, which I would hope they would want to play guard.
Mm-hmm.
So. All right, go ahead, Lamar. What you got?
Well, I'm not familiar with this team.
Mm-hmm.
A Spirit of Detroit. If I don't know something, I don't know. So I gotta. You know what I'm saying? I ain't.
I respect that. I respect that.
Yeah, so I gotta get familiar. I gotta get my weight up and really understand and actually say that.
And it's our fault. We probably should have gave you a little warning on that. Sorry about that.
Oh no, you good. Shoot, if I don't know something, I don't know something. Shoot, I can name off stats and this, that, and the third. But if I don't, hey, look. If I go to the grocery store and I don't know where the milk aisle is, I ain't gonna act like I know.
Well, let me ask you this question better. Let me ask you this question. Give me a position that you might be looking on the Panthers for the Lions.
Maybe tight end. Matter of fact, I'm gonna give y'all a nugget here, man. I was just did a live stream with Bill Carroll, and Bill Carroll is he does a scout for like FBS scouting, CBS scouting. He does a draft and all this other stuff, like a draft guide every year and all this other stuff. He went to the scouting combine. He talked to Brad Holmes. They both from HBCU. So he gave Brad a little crap about where he went to, because it's like a private school. It's like the Harvard of HBCUs, and he went to like the school for the hard knocks,
Mm-hmm.
So he asked Brad Holmes, what you looking to do this year? And he said, I'm looking to get more depth on the offensive and defensive line. Very matter-of-factly, but I love more speed on the field on offense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
There's only one position I could think he would want more speed on the field, because you literally got the fastest wide receiver in the league. And this happened yesterday. I said on my live stream, and the dude got combine media access. He talked to the teams.
That's awesome. Good insider information there.
No problem.
B, who you got?
Speaking of tight end, there's a guy in there called Gunnar Oaks from Eastern Michigan, 25 years old, 6'4", 252 pounds, from Swanton, Ohio. He was drafted in round 7 of the NFL, but obviously nobody picked him up or nobody kept him, so he went to the UFL. He could be one guy that you look for. Tight ends with any Michigan team, period, seems to be something that they always look for. I mean, Michigan Wolverines most exclusively,
especially if they're blocking tight ends.
AJ
Barner,
blocking
tight ends.
Yeah, you got Colston Loveland. So many guys from over there in Michigan.
Yeah, so to your detriment there. Yeah, Gunnar Oaks, I think, will be he needs to prove something in the UFL. That's for sure.
Okay.
Because he did get drafted in the NFL, but and he didn't make it, obviously. So it's time to start over again. You know what I'm saying? So
all right. Well, I'll take that. I'm going to wrap up this segment with I'm going to go with Samson Nacua, Puka's brother.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not saying he's Puka Nacua by no means, but he's 27 years old, so he's just entering his prime. The Lions don't have necessarily a need at receiver, but, if you could stash him on your vet squad in case an injury happens, I think he might have a chance. And if he shows any special teams ability, like a gunner or a returner or anything like that, the Lions love those kind of players. So Samson Nacua, he caught a touchdown today. I expect to see more of him the rest of the season. So I would go with him as my guy. So
I like that. I like that.
So that
I should have
so
did
that
that one.
But just remember something. The Kua brothers are older. I think they're both like 27, 26, somewhere around there. So they're older in a tooth. I was basically just going with more people, people that were younger. See, Gunner is 25, and he has more of a chance to kind of make it than those two. I mean, they want to pick him up any NFL team wants to pick him up to cover like an injury or something like that. That would probably be where they fit in at.
That's what I'm saying. Like for the Lions, But for the Lions, we're not talking a 53-man roster. We're talking the vet squad, like the practice squad. A guy who you could put on the practice squad, and if an injury did happen to one of our big receivers, maybe you elevate him. You just never know. But that being said, we're going to go ahead and wrap up this segment.
Yes,
we wish the Panthers the best of luck this year. We'll be updating all
Go
season
Panthers.
how they're going. Yeah,
Go
definitely.
Panthers.
All right. So from one cat to another cat, we're moving to the Lions. All right. Lions have kind of been quiet lately. Haven't really done a lot. Not recently. They've done a lot so far, in my opinion, of adding players and depth and all that and key free agents. But right now they've been kind of quiet. So they recently re-signed Coyote Awashika. They had cut him and then they re-signed him. I think a 1-year deal. I'm just going to ask y'all real quick. Deal, big deal, no deal, don't care. Go ahead. No. Whoever wants to say, go first.
I think it's a big deal. Why? Because he's familiar with the squad. He's good depth piece. He's not going to come in and start. He's not going to come in and give you, 50, 60 snaps. No, he's just going to come in. He's going to be a depth piece. If anybody goes down, whether it's Mahogany or anybody else, he can step in. I mean, we see him play in the championship game back in 2023. He didn't do bad. I think he held his own against San Francisco when they were healthy and went to the Super Bowl that year. So I think having more depth, like Lamar said, that Holmes loved the offensive line depth. You can never have too many depth pieces, especially when they're familiar with your team. Exactly. So I like it. I think it's a big deal.
All right. Who's next?
I'll tell you. I think what we potentially could see is at that guard spot, a competition between him. You can rope in Sorsdahl, who did some guard work last year. Mm-hmm. You could rope in Mahogany. I think it's Mahogany's spot to lose. Yep. Now, if they do go ahead draft like Gray Zabel, now you have an interesting, you have a 3-4 way, competition, right? Mm-hmm. Mahogany, the rookie, Manu, you could say.
Graham.
Right, Graham. Well, Graham gonna start regardless because if you think about it, Graham already held down stuff. He's already been outperformed by Mahogany. So to get the best 5, you got to put Graham and Mahogany. But if he's outperformed by Manu or Owasika, or it's time to go. The offensive line is a little older, and I'll wrap up my point with this: you do draft Gray Zabel, and you get him next to Ragnow. Whether he plays guard or center or he's like a sponge, now you honestly have the best backup core in the whole entire league.
Yeah, great.
Egubon is good. He was a decent center at Florida. And then you got whatever you got out of Manu. Then you got you start having players like you could actually insert in preseason. You can actually dominate the line of scrimmage in preseason.
Yeah, that's a good point. B, what do you think?
I think it's a good sign. I mean, anytime that he's a pretty solid player, and considering the fact that Graham Glasgow is nearing the end of his string, and they're probably going to start Simo at the other guard spot, it's good that they got him and Skipper in there as backups because they're really good backups. They're not going to start nowhere, but they're really good backups. So, but yeah, that's a good signing. I like it.
Yeah, and to wrap this up, I think basically it's a depth piece, but it's also a guy who started in games for you, big games. So he's got live game reps. So he's not just a guy who just has been a backup or his best reps have been preseason. I think what kind of the piggyback on Lamar, Graham, Awashika, and yes, I'm going to throw in Manu. I think they are all going to battle in training camp for that guard position, because I think Mahogany's going to have one of them, and the other one is going to be a battle between whoever comes out the best in training camp. Graham obviously is the incumbent because he's been a starter, and he's been a linchpin on this line. He didn't have the best year last year, but he's still a good player, But then you got Awashika, who I think Awashika could start. He started games before, so they brought him back for a reason. And then Manu is a surprise one too, because look at what the Eagles did with Mekhi Becton. He was a tackle, and they moved him to guard, and the guy just dominated. And so Manu, Hank's a hell of a coach. Hank could coach anybody, and I really want to see what he does with Manu.
Manu, and I think you and I, we talked about this, Nate, really quick. I'm not going to be long, but Manu, he seems like a bit of a wild card because, he come in from the Canadian Football League, didn't have much film on him, and he's like a project. And they were talking about how they had to work on mechanics, get him to learn American style.
And he sat out the whole
football.
Season, so he learned a lot. So now you got to take the training wheels off and let's see what he got.
Yeah, I just think that it would be like kind of too big of a role right now for him to step in and have to have that role because, he's going to be going up against some dogs. You look at the schedule, you're going to be going against the Ravens, you're going to go up against the Browns.
You got to learn at some point how
Eagles,
to do it.
Another point about Manu is we don't know if they're really set at him for tackle. We only heard rumors. We only heard Micro Mike and all those other people say he might be a better guard. So we haven't heard that come from the coach. So we don't even know when the coach say something, when Dan say something, I listen. I only mention Manu only because, do you want more athleticism in a pin pull technique? Do you want more
Imagine
athleticism?
Imagine him and Penny on one side. Just think about that for a second.
Then that'd be with the assumption that Manu has taken a big jump and he's actually able to do that and have the right assignments, play at pad level, be able to, pull and not hit another player. A lot comes along with that, but I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Competition, the cream rises to the top. So we'll see what happens. I think bringing in Awashika is definitely going to increase that competition going
big time.
Look, the Maserati golf cart leads the charge, okay? The Maserati golf chart, okay? If the Maserati golf cart is uncomfortable and he's getting A-gap pressure and B-gap pressure from their guard, out of a 4-eye and whatever, he's going to say, look, this competition is over. Just put Mahogany there. I'm not about to lose my MVP-like numbers. I'm not about to dip. We already don't have no defense. Let's come on. Because golf is the one that's going to say, I'm not comfortable with this right there.
Yeah, sure.
and you knew that golf was comfortable with Mahogany being there. Mahogany kind of really became his best friend at a certain point in time.
Games, man. That's not a very big sample size.
Mahogany. Listen, Mahogany he's down to work. You've seen it. You've heard Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell talk about him. The updates.
I've seen flashes. To
get back on the field. He wasn't getting pressure. You wasn't getting pressure from Mahogany side at all at a certain point of time.
Yeah, Commanders, he didn't look good against the Commanders. He looked good against the Vikings, but looked bad against Commanders.
Did any of them look good against the Commanders? Let's be honest.
Well, I'm just saying. He struggled with Commanders. All right. We want to go backwards for that game. All right. Well, that's the Lions talk. So we're going to go ahead and jump into the football forum.
But Jay's cooked. My bad.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
okay, Jay.
Oh, okay.
All right. So real quick, and B, go ahead and bring the other guys on because if they might be interested in some of these players for their teams. So real quick, we're gonna bring everybody on. Let them introduce themselves real quick, and then we're gonna have Jay with the session, and he's gonna take over. So,
hey.
What's up, everybody?
What's up?
All right.
What's up? How y'all doing?
Hi, everyone.
Bunch here.
Hey.
Okay. So is anybody else? That's it, B?
That's
so
it.
am I? So B, I don't like it. Had the sound and everything. My narration. I don't have to do that like right now, right?
Yeah, you don't have to. You don't have to talk because you've got everything on there.
So real quick. Y'all, Sonia. For the people that don't know you, and Monkey, for people that don't know you, please introduce yourself. So we'll start with you, Sonia, and plug your show, please.
Yes, hi, I'm Sonia Pearson. I'm the host of Prim and Proper Sports. I'm an avid Duke fan, thus the royal blue I'm wearing, go Duke, Blue Devils. And I'm a Carolina Panthers fan, and I cover all sports, Prim and Proper Sports on YouTube and Roku and all the affiliates. And it's good to be here with you gentlemen again today.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for coming on again. Thank you for giving us your time.
Thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely. Good to meet you.
As well.
And go ahead, Monkey. Welcome back. Introduce yourself.
My name is Monkey. I used to be on a podcast with a guy above me, but yeah, we'll leave it at that because
long story.
Yeah, I mainly pay attention to football. I enjoy most sports. I love playing all sports, but can barely stand only just a few. I can't watch baseball. I fall asleep before the third inning every time. It doesn't matter who's playing. I'm sorry. But I like playing it. I respect the game, America's pastime. Basketball, I haven't really been into too much, but I've been starting to get into here and there for the last few years. And I've been a big Bills fan since as far as I can remember.
Right on.
My man. My man.
All right. Well, thank you all for coming. We're going to go ahead and let Jay with his session here. Jay, introduce your segment. This segment is going to be going forward for the rest of the year, even through the football season. We're going to have different versions of this. So, Jay, the floor is yours, buddy.
All right. So this session I got here right now, this is going to be called Let Jay Cook, because I'm going to be giving everybody every Sunday different prospects for the NFL draft, different positions. This week I started out with DN, so I hope everybody enjoyed the video.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Look, today I'm about to break down my top 5 defensive ends for this year's 2025 NFL draft. At number 1, I got Mike Green from the University of Marshall, the Thundering Herd. The guy is massive, 6'4", and 248 pounds. He had 38 solo tackles, 17 sacks, and 3 forced fumbles in last year's season. That's a guy to look out for if he's still there at 28. At number 2, we got Jack Sawyer from the Ohio State University. Self-explanatory, right? National champion, gave Michigan the flux last year. One of the best pass rushers, if not the best pass rusher in the Big Ten. Give him his credit. At number 3 for me, Josiah Stewart, edge rusher out of Michigan. We covered that already. At 4, James Pierce, edge rusher out of Tennessee. Really good guy to look out for. At number 5, edge rusher out of Texas A&M, Shamar Stewart. Look, seeing him climbing up on a lot of people's draft boards, hear he's a good kid, can be pretty lengthy, and he's the set the edge kind of guy. He can stop the run, and he can also blow by a tackle. What do you think? Let me know what you guys think about these draft picks.
That was great, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate that.
Presentation.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
All right,
Yeah,
Jay.
together
So
pretty
this is your segment. So tell me why Mike Green is your number one.
Mike Green, man. That dude has 17 sacks last season. I ain't really see much of that at all from anybody, you know, not even Aiden Hutchinson when he played at Michigan. And not to compare the two, but, you know, having somebody like that, that means that they are pretty much, they're good with their hands. They can fight off tackles, fight off guards, fight off whoever that's in front of them. They can get to the quarterback, get their assignment. Not only are they getting home, but they're putting pressure on the opposing quarterback. That's something the Lions struggled with last season. After Hutchinson went down, after Davenport went down, we had a very hard time getting to the quarterback, and that lasted up until they got Zadarius Smith a couple weeks later. But, I mean, I want to see constant pressure. I want to see, like, relentless plays. I want to see somebody that can be in the backfield every single time. I don't want that other quarterback to breathe, because being in the division that we're in with Stewart stopped the run, 27% in missed tackle rate. And one thing that I want to see is Jordan Love being uncomfortable. Caleb Williams. A lot of people are expecting Caleb Williams to make a big jump this year. I don't want to see that happen. I don't hate the kid, but I mean, him being good is bad for the Lions. JJ McCarthy may come in and start. I just want to see people fear that Lions defense. I want both Aiden Hutchinson to be feared. I want whoever's on the other side of him, whether it is Davenport or anybody, to just put fear in the opposing quarterbacks. Mike Green is that guy to do it.
I'm kind of surprised that you didn't go with Pierce because I know you're a big fan of Pierce. Why Green over Pierce?
Man, Pierce, one thing that gets me about Pierce, if Pierce had a personality up to Detroit standard, I think he'd be a top 10 pick, right? I don't know how he would fare in our locker room. I think he would do good considering we got all of these leaders in our locker room, whether it's the coach, whether it's people on our offensive line, defensive line. I don't want to take that chance. I know Mike Green. I think he's going to be like one of the best defensive players, not just DNs, but defensive players in this year's draft. That's what I'm banking on.
I would second that. I actually go ahead. I was going to add a caveat to the character issue of James Pierce and what it is. I don't know if y'all know what it is.
Well, but before anybody goes further, right below us who just came in there is Ron.
Yeah.
How you doing, man?
He is an Atlanta Falcon fan, but you go ahead, Ron. Go ahead and tell him about yourself there real quick, bro.
We'll get back to you, Lamar.
Yeah, we got you, Lamar.
Mike Green got 1 year. They're not good enough for me. You got to do more than just have one good year in college. And your attitude stinks outside of football. So you said Mike Green? No.
I mean, I want to – can I add something on to that? Before Aiden Hutchinson's breakout year, he only had that year, really. I mean, remember, he broke his leg in college. He battled with injuries and stuff like that. I think that, like, yeah, small sample size, but we see the ability is there. You see what he can do, and he's only going to get better. Now, the attitude part, I mean, like I say, that is kind of a bit of a caveat, but since we have a locker room full of leaders in our culture in our organization, right? We should be able to trust that these leaders are able to get them straight, right? Like a lot of people were down on Jalen Carter when he got drafted by the Eagles, but Roseman literally drafted his whole defense, including the guy who was responsible to getting him to practice every day in Nakobe Dean. So I think that if we can draft a guy like Green, Hutchinson to be on his back,
What's the issue? Okay, so let me bring back Lamar. Lamar, what's the issue with Mike Green? Tell us, because I don't know all the details.
So I don't know if y'all saw my podcast the other day. I did a live stream with Bill Carroll, who was at the Combine, who was a scout for CBS, scout for FBS Sports and Scouting. So he's in the circles. He talked to Brad Holmes, and he told me the issue with James Pierce. And James Pierce should explain this to you as well. James Pierce is a very anti-person. He does not like people. He does not like talking to the media. He's not going to go to the hospital with a kid with cancer. He don't like being around people like that. Oh, wow. He's to me, that's not a character issue because a lot of people just want to go to work and that's it.
He just sounds introverted. He just sounds very introverted.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So how many of us in this chat, we want to go to work and that's it? We don't want to deal with this da-da-da-da-da. A lot of the NFL draft has become quite a bit of a circus. When you see things with Shedeur and they asking him about his chain at the scouting combine, things become a little more about other stuff, not just football. He just wants to play football. That's all he cares about. Now, he does admit that he doesn't care about the run game. He's very vocal about, I know where the money is. He's very like, I know where the money is, and this is obviously hearsay. Y'all can talk to Bill Carroll yourselves, but he knows that getting sacks matters. So he's a person that's going to defend the run on the way to the quarterback. Okay, on the way to the quarterback, he knows where the money matters, and he's very matter of fact with teams about that. Like,
so he doesn't fit Detroit because you have to be able to stop the run, Detroit.
That's the thing. Is like his run stop rate is still at a high level. It's something he doesn't care about. And
but he's not a willing defender to stop the run. That's what I'm trying to say.
I mean, you can have the last word on it. You can take it how you want to. What I'm saying is his production in stopping the run is decent. So his production versus the way he feels about it still shows importance to me.
Mhm.
But the value of him being so nonchalant and not wanting to talk to the media and not wanting to be a part of the hoopla, to me, the Eagles will take a guy like that and they will deal with that.
Yep,
They will
sure
deal
will.
with that.
Sure
So,
will. They have done that with a couple players.
and many of us here, I can take a look at y'all. If we all work together, one of y'all, two of y'all gonna be like, "Nah, I ain't really folk going to the pizza party. I'm good. I'm gonna go ahead, go home," and that's what I relate that to.
Definitely
Yeah,
me. Definitely me.
The thing that concerns me is that when you go to the combine, you're under a microscope because
Right.
GMs are talking to you, coaches are talking to you, hell, even players are even there too. Like, you have to put on your best. It's an interview. You have to put on your best interview. You can't come to the job and say, "Oh, I'll do what I want to do. Oh, I'll just show up in 8 hours and then I'll be done."
You know,
I'm
sorry, Nate.
Let me
go ahead.
No, but here's my thing. Like, you are interviewing for them. They don't have to draft you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and the reality is that if you come in with a mentality of like, "Oh, my shit don't stink," well, you
That's
might
gonna
be
rub some
looking
people the wrong way. Yeah.
You're not going to get the job, bro. I'm sorry. They're going to get somebody else who
It will.
gives a shit.
But think about this, Nate. A guy like Pierce, who's confident in his ability and he know what he can do, no matter where he go, he can show out no matter where he goes, right? Like we were talking about Shedeur Sanders. Look at Cam Ward. A lot of people are perceiving them as arrogant and not people persons either. But wherever they go, they know they're going to get drafted. No matter if it's at 1 or 32, they're going to get drafted. They know that there's going to be a team that needs them more than the quarterback needs the team, right? Because they're going to get drafted.
But if these players want money, they want to be drafted high. Like, that's facts. Because the more the higher you draft, the more money you make.
Of course,
so
that is a true thing too.
By him saying that, I just feel like you're really putting yourself into a box.
Right. And look,
go ahead.
Look, I got this from a media credentialed individual who interviewed players at the combine. Okay. And that was his thing, was he just doesn't like people. Now, let's relate that to a media darling like Malcolm Rodriguez. Malcolm Rodriguez, a media darling. He's never gonna do nothing wrong. Everybody likes Malcolm Rodriguez.
Yep.
Does Malcolm Rodriguez have 10 sacks? No.
No. In fact, you know, we look at him like, is he even really that good in coverage?
Well, let me push back on that, because Malcolm Rodriguez was not projected to go in the first round. We can all agree on that. Malcolm Rodriguez is probably a third. He fell where we picked him up. That's where he was going to go. On top of that, Malcolm Rodriguez was a captain on his team and a leader. And you know damn well that that's what Brad Holmes and Dan want. They want, you can call them choir boys, you can call them whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
They want leaders and they want captains. They want dudes that are going to lead you into the battle. And that's why Malcolm Rodriguez made sense for the Lions. I'm not saying
they also got to be playmakers. You know, I do think the character is like the cherry on top, but they got to be playmakers. You got to have somebody that
you're talking about a perfect player. Like sometimes some of these guys come in with high characters more than the playmaking ability. Sometimes it's the vice versa. The risk is higher than the reward. You're talking about a perfect player that would have both.
Think about this, Nate. Look at Amon-Ra St. Brown, right? Well, you seen wide receiver, you know his story. He come out of USC. He didn't want to be here in Detroit. He was pissed he came here to Detroit. But whether his personality showed like that on the practice field or not, it was his game that did all the talking. It was the scouting that Brad Holmes and scouting team did that really put Amon-Ra on the field. And Craig Reynolds. Think about Craig Reynolds. Remember when Craig Reynolds came out and said, man, we didn't like St. Brown. He was arrogant. He was cocky, but Aaron Glenn knew that St. Brown was going to be a beast. Ben Johnson knew he was going to be a beast. Like that whole team knew St. Brown.
But you're also proving my point, because the loudest ones aren't always the best either. Like, let your play and do the talking. Like, if James Pierce is this good, bro, let's see it on the field.
Right.
Pierce ain't talking. Pierce is like, man, let me play football. Let me go home. Let me play football.
Nate the Great, I will say this. You are right. He does not fit the personality profile of the Detroit Lions. I will give you that. He does not fit the profile that they've set forth. But the production is there, and I feel like if y'all let this happen and he goes to the Eagles, I don't want to hear in 4 years, we got to go get Pierce because he has 27 sacks in 3 years.
Yes.
We got to pay him Hutch money. I don't want to hear it. I want it when he reaches free agency.
I understand being an introvert versus being an extrovert if that's your, social type makeup or what have you. But like Nate said, sometimes you have to kind of like make it beyond yourself. And I think we are living in a time that these players, because of NIL deals and the such like, have forgotten the true gratefulness and the humbleness of coming into the league. They come in entitled. 100%. They come in and like we be in the league, if we were the league, owe them, and that we should be grateful that they're considering us. I mean, we're seeing this magnified with the whole Shedeur Sanders prospect. It is over magnified. And you have to remember, listen, you are a kid at the end of the day. You are still a kid. Every one of you that are coming into the league, NIL or what have you, you're still a kid and you still have to compete with the best of the best. In college, you can compete to be the best. When you come into the league, everybody that you meet is already the best.
It's a privilege to come into the NFL because there's only so many people that make the NFL on a team.
Right.
In a sense, yes. But, if it's really just a personality thing where he doesn't want to be around a lot of people, don't want to talk to the media. It's not like he's out here robbing stores or been accused of doing something bad, right?
Yes.
He's just an antisocial person.
But it's also too, Jay, it's what he's saying too. Like he might not be saying a lot, but he's saying a lot. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Of course. I get it. And really quick, I'll end my part with this. So a couple weeks ago, I was on Detroit local sports radio. I was talking, Mike Valeni, they have TJ Lane on their show quite often. And they were talking about people with personality issues. And he said, man, it's a lot of people that I wouldn't take home to my family. I wouldn't want them to meet my wife or my kids. But when it came down to playing football and making football plays, I trusted them to be that. That's something that I think we can trust James Pierce Jr. to be. We know he has ability. We know he can play. We know he's really good. It's just his personality. If your personality is the only thing holding you back, I think we can fix that. Seriously.
I think we should start having context to the character concerns. We should have like a DEFCON 1, DEFCON 2, DEFCON 3, because when we have character concerns and we can label and categorize them, and we can say this is it. Oh yeah, he has a green personality concern, or a yellow, or a purple.
And I think GMs definitely do that. They definitely have a list of like how bad is it going to be for this team's culture. Is it going to be a high concern, low concern, no concern?
Because we're right now, like I think you've seen a comment. He was projected as a top 10 pick. Now he's projected in the middle, maybe the middle to the late first round, just because he ain't talking to the media. He not robbing banks. He not out here holding no old women up by the gun and all that stuff. What he's doing is he's just like, look, I know it. I'm the man. I know it. I'm getting this money. I know it. And then that's it. Like that's it. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Nate. I think part of what the culture is also just agreeing a little bit what you're saying, Spirit of Detroit podcast. That's why the league also has been in touch with the mental health aspect of the league. It's not just people that are crashing out or really needing services. It's about categorizing personalities on your team so that you are making sure that every player is identified personally for what they bring to the table. And that could be from an introvert perspective as well.
Yeah. Monkey and Matt, what are y'all's perspectives on that?
People forget that football players are just people. They're going to have their issues just as much as anybody else. You get your ones from the ghetto that come up. You get ones that come from poor shack town in East Bumfuck, Alabama, that comes up, where they didn't have shoes on their feet when they're growing up. You got people who have always had money growing up. You got numerous people. You got different personalities coming in, mixtures. And to be honest with you, if you're in the NFL and you don't have some kind of high level of confidence, there's something wrong with you. So, and everyone getting on like Shedeur Sanders. How the hell are you going to talk about Shedeur Sanders? Deion Sanders is his father. Do y'all remember what the hell that man did on that field, on and off that field? I mean, he was all talk, but he backed it up.
But that's what his dad did. He has not done like he's still a kid. He's got to earn that.
Right.
Like, yeah, your name does carry you, but I mean, it's not fair to other people who have to come in the hard way, you know?
And I've been on record saying that he should have separated himself from his father before the draft, before the combine even started. Like, hey, you're drafting me, not my daddy.
He never did that. Hard, and that's very hard to do when you are like your father is one of the greatest athletes of all time, right?
But
so I mean, he's confident. We know he's confident in his ability, but a lot of people perceive that as arrogance. You know, like Monkey just said, like these are just people. These are people just like we are. Yeah, a lot of them are more fortunate than we are, or some less fortunate, but these are people. They're going to have their problems. They're going to have their good and bad days just like everybody else. But when you cut on that film, do you see them making football plays? Do they jump out on the screen and say, man, you know something? I think he would do great for our team. If they can do that, why not take him? I mean, you can sit somebody down and say, hey, do you want to be a gangster, or do you want to be a cowboy, or do you want to be a football player? Yeah. You understand? Do you want to be a celebrity, or do you want to be a football player? Yeah. We want to know if it's 3rd and 2, can you pick up that first down, or can you get to the quarterback or the running back on obvious pass run situations? You know,
it's all about the fit.
Hold on just a moment. So Spirit Detroit, you have to go, brother.
Yeah, but no, I love this. I see y'all in the chat all the time. And this is the first time I really tuned in. Respect to Sonya as well as my guy from the Bills here. I can't see your name.
Thank you.
And as well as the one ass cheek and 3 toes. And shout out to you, Pittsburgh guy. It's gonna be a rough season.
Thanks,
anyway.
Damn. He didn't say nothing. You already slided him.
This gonna be a good conversation. Look, I want to have another video with y'all. I'm glad to bring y'all on my channel. On my YouTube channel, whatever y'all trying to do, talk.
We appreciate it, man.
You know, I love what y'all had to do today, and I love the conversation. See how y'all had a healthy discourse, even though y'all disagreed. See, if I did that on YouTube,
try to do.
Well, if I did that on YouTube with Syndicate or anybody else, it wouldn't go well. So,
if you want me to be an asshole, I can start being an asshole. What the hell?
Oh no, you seem like you're from New York. You seem like you're from New York. You know, I don't know what you got going on.
New York. You were born an asshole.
Hey, Lamar, I'll say this. This is exactly the segue to what you just said is what the whole fit with James Pierce. It's all about the structure.
Yes, sir.
Like this show has structure. It has control.
Foundation.
And we don't want misfits coming in here wrecking it up with what we created. That's what the Lions do. That's what the Lions do.
Yes, sir. Hey, Lamar, man. Appreciate you coming on.
I bet it up.
Appreciate it, man. You have a good one.
Go get the firefighters. Go get the firefighters this draft.
Yeah, the fire boys.
Lamar, we're honored and appreciative of you. Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Hey, before we go any further, let me get some of these questions answered here because we had a couple up here. Like this one for Big Dan. Yes, what do you guys think of the chances Brad Holmes trades up for round 1 of this draft?
Very high.
I think it's low. I think it's low. Like, that's kind of hard. I don't think it's likely though, because they traded up last year to get Terry Arnold. You know, we know that they like to use their pieces, their draft picks for, you know, certain players. I don't see a guy that they trade up in this year's draft to get though.
Well, if they trade up, who would they trade up for?
Right, exactly.
Probably one of the top ends that falls.
Like if you want Mike Green, you gotta trade up in front of the Bengals because that's more than likely he's gonna go to the Cincinnati Bengals.
I hate that.
I can't see Brad Holmes, especially in this draft, sitting on his hands and letting all the draft rushers go. I can't see that, especially when you've got the assets and you know that this is a big need for us because this is a big piece that we need to get to the Super Bowl. Like, I can't see him sitting on his hands. Like, Brad Holmes already shows the ability that he likes to trade up and get and get the player he wants. It only takes one player for him to fall in love with. So if he sees that player falling and he thinks it's the right value, he'll go get it. So very high.
The next question we have here is from Brent. Realistically, how many sacks do you think JPJ could have in the Lions scheme?
I'll probably say 8.5 sacks. I'm not expecting him to come in and just get double-digit sacks. James Pierce Jr.
James Pierce Jr.
I'd say about 7.
Yeah, I think about 8 or 7, because here's the thing. If Aiden is your premier pass rusher, he's going to be mostly going for the quarterback. And if you know the Lions scheme, that other pass rusher needs to be able to stop the run and set the edge. So he can't just be running at the quarterback. That's why I didn't like his answer, because I'm sorry, bro, you can't just run at the quarterback and then be a willing run stopper. You can't do that. Like you have to set the edge, and then once the edge is set, then you can go after the quarterback. And so it doesn't seem like a good fit if that's the case. But I would say 7 or 8.
I mean, yeah, and you know what? JPJ making that answer like that too. You got to understand, if you're just running toward a quarterback and you say that and you don't care about the run, what do you think other offenses are going to do when you hear that? They hear that
Exactly.
Run straight at you.
They're going to run the ball right around you.
Yeah.
So you're exposing your defense.
I really think it depends on the type of defense that Dan Campbell and Kelvin Shepard are going to run. I don't know if they're going to be as blitz heavy as Aaron Glenn was, but I mean, he can win a lot of one-on-ones. I mean, he does need to focus on stopping the run, but I'd say in the system of the players we have, I'd say about 8.5.
I think you also got to keep in mind with that defensive end wanting to just blitz at the quarterback. You need to be able to stop them option plays too, and if you're just blitzing the full stream at the quarterback like that, that's going to leave that wide open, and you all see what option plays can do. It can create havoc.
I don't mean to cast aspersions or anything, but it sounds like this guy's chasing a bag. He wants to be a guy that's going to go for a lot of pass rushings, get a lot of sacks, and get paid.
That's just pure speculation. We don't know that, right?
He told that to a combine guy.
But listen, we don't know how he's going to be when he actually steps on the football field, when he gets drafted, who he gets drafted to. We'll see if that, where he gets drafted, if that have any effect on his personality. We just don't know.
All I'm saying is words matter, because I'll give you another example. Look at Teo McMillan. The Packers were really high on him. He said he doesn't even watch film, doesn't care to watch film. Why would you even say that?
Right.
You know that these coaches want you to watch film and watch your opponents. For you to even say that, dude, that's a dumbass.
You talking about that wide receiver? That wide receiver?
Yeah.
I seen that when I seen that, I was like, if I was a coach, I ain't taking you.
Yeah, I'm not taking you either. No.
We kind of seen that happen with Kyler Murray. I mean, the Cardinals really
didn't watch film either.
That showed poor attitude too.
That's questioning your work ethic and how badly you want to be a football player. Where do you want to be on this team? What do you want your role to be on this team? Because if you aren't studying film, you don't want to get better. It's like, what are you here for?
I mean, look, you gotta look at it like this too. Yeah, opening your mouth to people that are going to hire you or whatever the case may be is not a good idea, especially if it's a negative sentence. However, there's people out there that don't study film and don't talk about it like that.
Right.
And they're professional athletes that have been playing for a long period of time because they understand the game. So some people can do that and some people can't. It's just the way it goes. But you don't blab that out. You don't blab out to people that when you're trying to get hired into the NFL. Period.
That's like going into an interview and saying, I'm going to show up half the day. Is that okay with you? Of course,
or I'm going to show up the day after I smoke some weed, right before you drug test me, It's come on, you can't say stuff like that. Just wait, let it play out.
I don't know who's coaching these players, but dude, less is best. Seriously, less is best.
You want to know something as well? I think in the age of social media and sports even getting bigger than what they are, I think a lot of times people take certain quotes to make things seem a little bit bad. Now, him saying he doesn't study film, that's just idiotic because they want you to be dedicated to your art. They want you to be dedicated to the game. And if you can't be committed to that, they don't want you on a team. They're not going to pay you millions of dollars for you to go out here and
don't say what you're thinking.
F it up.
You don't have to say what you're
exactly. So I mean, a lot of it has to do with context as well. I'd like to actually see the interview where he was saying it because I want to know exactly what he said and how did he say it.
But the fact that it's even if it's even coming out like that is a bad thing. And you know, and I agree. The media always twists stuff in a negative way because that's what the media does. So if you don't give any ammunition to the media to put out there, then you're not, you know what I'm saying?
I agree.
You're good. So don't say anything that's going to be twisted by the media, even if it is something that might have been taken out of context. You can't do that in this day and age. Any platform,
really quick. Media. I really want to say something really quick, and I'm done with it. But could you imagine if Marshawn Lynch didn't have a lot of interviews, like you didn't see the actual videos, if you just seen like little quotes of what he said across a picture, maybe you would have thought Marshawn Lynch was the worst person in the world. But when you seen the interviews and you were understanding what he was saying in context, you're like, okay, it's really not that bad. Like he had an event and he's like, I'm just here so I don't get fined. If they put that under a picture, if he was being scouted, they would have been saying he was the worst person in the world. So I think the media puts a crazy spin on a lot of these kids' words, and
because kind of bad. As an athlete, you live in a glass house, okay? Whether you like it or not, everybody sees everything you do, and if you're even a really good player, it's even worse. So the thing is that you have to understand what you say matters, what you do matters. And it's going to affect you if it's a negative situation, because in today's world, everything is by the hit of a button. That they always say, like, think before you send. That's a perfect example right there. Because once you put it out there, it's out there and it ain't coming back. All right.
Anyway,
so thank you, Jay, for that segment.
I appreciate it, guys.
I love the insight.
Look
forward to more of those videos. So we're going to go ahead and hop on to our forum for the rest of the show. So let's get started.
All right. So first of all, we got a panel here. We have a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, a Carolina Panther fan, and a Buffalo Bill fan. Besides us three, it's a small grouping today. I was wishing for more people to come on here, but it is what it is.
Did Rob leave?
What happened to the Falcons guy?
Rob is still here.
Ron?
Oh, Ron, yeah, he disappeared. Just like usually the Falcons do. Anyway,
28-3. That's all I gotta say. 28-3.
Yeah, they just had their holiday Friday, 3/28.
But anyway, these are the questions that we've lined up for the panel. When we ask these questions, we're gonna go to you guys first at the bottom there. The Steeler fan, Carolina Panther fan, and the Buffalo fan. You're going to answer this first, and we're going to rotation. Okay, so just give it. You don't have to. Don't be a long-winded person in this situation. Okay,
don't go into questions. Basically, just
he said the fan like we ain't got no names.
The fans. That's right. You're the fans right now.
These are y'all's questions to y'all, so y'all are going to be doing the talking. We're just going to be asking.
Yeah. So here's the first one. What are your expectations for your team before the draft?
All right.
And we're going to start with Robbie. Yep. Just go across.
Start with Kevin. He looks like he's ready.
Oh, Lord.
Okay.
How you get to first?
I'm still thinking.
I'll go. Sonia.
My expectations ain't high. My expectations ain't low. I'm just a spectator, really. The Bills seem to draft very well, or pretty decently at least. Rather it's early in the draft or late in the draft. I mean, Christian Benford was a 6th-round pick, so. But then you had Elam, who was a 1st round in the same draft.
Switch spots.
Hit and miss. So as long as we stay consistent, I'm good with it.
Okay.
What side would you focus more attention on this draft? Offense or defense?
Oh, defense. Our biggest concerns is against the run. We signed 2 players who were really good against the run last year and throughout their careers, and now we won't have them for the first 6 weeks because their dumbasses wanted to fuck up and do stupid shit. So,
I mean, you lost Von Miller, right?
Yeah, I don't give a shit about that. We got Joey Bosa, which is basically a younger version of Von Miller, so I'll take it. And cheaper. save money by releasing them.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Who's next?
Robbie, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, go ahead.
My expectations is hopefully the Stars can focus on the offensive side of the ball. They invested way too much in defense. D-line is an issue, but not like early round. But I'm hoping we address the quarterback position with Jackson Dart hopefully being available. And another wide receiver went hurt.
I hear Aaron Rodgers is available for you guys as well. What do you think about that?
Take that. Hold up, man. Take that evil away, man.
Enough of that guy. Enough of that guy.
We don't.
Although, let me tell you this, Robbie. Pat McAfee is doing a show in Pittsburgh on April 9th. And it's speculation to believe that Aaron Rodgers will be announced as a Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback on that day.
Yeah,
it's all speculation. But I wouldn't be happy if we signed personally. I want a young quarterback. I don't want no damn old horse.
Where's he going to go? Is he the retirement, go back to the dark retreat, or it's the Steelers?
He can go anywhere he wants, as long as it's not in Pittsburgh.
He can smoke with Wiz Khalifa,
I don't want him.
who's also from Pittsburgh, and Snoop Dogg, who's a Steelers fan. Come on.
Come on. Did you really bring up Wiz Khalifa? Man, I can't stand that dude's music. And he's not from Pittsburgh. He's not from Pittsburgh. He was raised in Pittsburgh, but he's not from Pittsburgh.
I know, I get that.
All right, Robbie.
Put it this way, that black and yellow song had nothing to do with the Steelers.
That's Lil Wayne. He's a Packer fan. I don't know why you would even make that song.
Who's a Packer fan?
Because of his car.
Oh, Lil Wayne. Who cares about Lil Wayne?
All right, Miss Sonia, go ahead. Your floor is yours.
Yeah, so of course the Panthers have a lot of work to do, in my opinion, to try to get weapons for Bryce, but have not done any tight end moves or wide receiver moves during the offseason. We were hoping that, okay, you guys didn't grab anybody now to help Bryce. Maybe when the draft comes around and we are picking in the 8th spot in the first round. But it has been predicted by Joe Person, who writes for the Panthers Wire, that he has it on good authority that the Panthers will be seeking to get a defensive player with their first draft. I kind of look at it both ways. You know, everybody has talked about our defense. It's been up and down, more down as of recent years. And with the leaving of Shaq Thompson, who became a free agent, who was the cornerstone of the defense and was a veteran with that team for the last 10 years. And I think he's the last of the original Super Bowl run era from the Panthers. They definitely need to try to work on, I like to use the word jovializing, like making it a younger team, a younger core, so that we can actually build upon what we got instead of just bringing a whole bunch of vets in. So that's probably the direction that the Panthers are going. However, a game does not matter with defense if you can't put points on the board. And I really feel like the Panthers do need to get some weapons. I mean, of course, they re-signed Thielen, but Thielen's not going to be there forever. Thielen's put his time in with the league. And so we really need to kind of work on getting some help for the draft picks that we got last year, Xavier Legette. It's going to be important to see how Jonathan Brooks does when he comes back from his injury, because we only saw him play for like a couple of weeks. So that's my take.
Sonia, question. So, you know, we talk about the offense, and the offense starts with the O-line. That's the biggest protection that you need in your on that side. How would you describe your O-line? Because I think that this will be some tackle opportunities there at 8-2 if you wanted to go maybe a Banks. There's a guy from LSU's possibility. Just talk to me about the status of your O-line right now. What do you feel about that?
Yeah, you know me, I'm a facts person. As of this weekend, they were ranked 22nd, which isn't too bad considering they have been folding like lawn chairs last season. I mean, I always accuse them of assisting Bryce to be sacked, because I felt like they were like folding in around him. Like, you guys are the ones. There was an instance that Bryce got tackled by one of his own old linemen. So it's just been a disaster. However, They did come up to 22, which means they are gradually improving. So, because I think we were like 31 or 32 the previous season. Their pass blocking efficiency, they've been tied for the 24th spot according to PFF rankings, rating at 83.6. So that's not too bad. The pressures that they've allowed 154 pressures, including 23 sacks and 539 pass plays.
So you definitely need some help on that line.
Right. And so improvements, basically, in my opinion, they have struggled since 2023 season when Bryce first came in, but they did make improvements, finishing with a 12th ranked 85.9 PFF ranking for pass blocking efficiency. And the injuries that have happened to that O-line have literally been the cause for a lot of that. There has been every single player on that O-line last season missed at least one game. Every player on the O-line was injured at least one game for the entire 2024 season. Every single player took a day off. ESPN had the Panthers offensive line ranked 28th for pass blocking and a win rate for 26 for run blocking. So we need some help. We need to really be looking at, that's why I'm not really sold on just going and grabbing somebody defensive. I think you need to go ahead and get me somebody for the O-line.
So you're okay with a tackle? If they had like Banks fell or Banks is there at 8, would you take Banks from UT? A tackle? He's probably gonna be the first tackle going off the board.
So let me ask you about this player. What is the story on McMillan?
He's got skill. There's no doubt about that. He's got good catching radius. Speed is good. The problem is when he said he doesn't watch tape and he doesn't really care to watch tape, that's a big problem.
And that's what we talk about, that personality thing. I don't want to hear you say you don't watch the tape. If you don't watch it, just don't vocalize that. Exactly. If you're one of these people that you could just look and absorb, because people learn differently. Just do your thing, but don't put it out there, because then it makes it look like, okay, they signed him, they're paying him or what have you. And he doesn't even have the respect enough to say, I'm going to sit down and actually try to learn. I'm going to just come in and do it my way. And that's where you make mistakes. And I think that's what's going on with the O-line we currently have. It's a lot of different players from a lot of different places in life, some draft, some from other teams, and none of them are on one page. I think if we bring in, I was kind of sold on McMillan, but your choice is a very solid choice. If he falls to that position, we need to snatch him up. We need to snatch him up, and we need to, in my opinion, worry about the defense in round 2. Get us some help on this O-line in the first round.
Protect your franchise quarterback. Always.
So do you think But do you think that your team would probably reach into free agency to get another a veteran offensive lineman to put on their team before the draft?
I thought that they were going to be doing that, before now. I had been literally hoping that they would do that. I'll tell you who I was looking at. Let's see. Give me one second.
Brandon Sheriff's out there. He would be a good plug and play.
Who?
Brandon Sheriff. Former commander.
Yeah, he's old as shit, right?
I looked at that.
He could be a rental.
Yeah. He could be like your Kevin Ziegler.
Yeah. Robert Hunt, of course, they got Robert Hunt graded out. That would have been a good set pick as far as that. It's just so much, y'all. That could be a whole show, because we have, before everybody started losing this last season, and I'm so glad they did, so people could just get off my Panthers, because it was like 10 other teams that were just garbage. But before last season, it was like we were really the laughing stock, because we had so many holes everywhere. And at one point, 40% of our team was injured, like early in the season. 40% were injured, but still playing. And when you have, that's close to 50% to me. When you have that many people that are missing, you're not going to get the dubs, and you're not going to put the stats up that people are thinking we should be putting up. But fingers crossed that we do grab somebody. Yes, Sheriff is going to be. If we could get him, if we can get McMillan, even though he's cocky or whatever, and Banks. I mean, I wish we'd get all three of them. I know it won't happen, but that's my theory. I mean, because we as Panthers fans have talked about this ad nauseum, and it's just we don't know who needs to make this decision, but it needs to happen soon.
All right. Thank you, Sonia. All right. So we're going to go to the next question. B, pull it up on the screen.
How do you think your team has done in free agency?
All right, Robbie, I'm coming to you first.
They did good. You know, their biggest acquisition was actually not a free agent; it was a trade. And Darius Slay, he was a huge upgrade, but not that many moves. Huh?
Darius Slay was a free agent. He signed.
Yeah, that was like the only free agent that the Stores really signed. You know, Metcalf was a trade.
Okay.
So he was a solid pickup.
Anybody you regret losing?
No.
I thought you were just a Fields fan.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
You got no quarterback. You say it is what it is.
I might have want him to leave, but I'm not going to sit here and still cry about it. You know, you got to get over it.
I'm telling you, Aaron Rodgers is still out there.
I mean, if you want him so bad, please be my guest.
We got our guy. We got Jared Goff, man. We're good.
Hey, Aaron Rodgers could be a good game. He can keep the Gatorade cold. he can keep the Gatorade cold. Come on, man. Pay him like $5 an hour or something. You know, be a water boy.
We don't do edible based enemas and all that stuff.
Oh my God.
Well, I do.
All right, we're moving on from that. Hey, shout out Robbie on your hats, man. I like your hat collection there.
Yeah.
That's just the beginning of them. I actually got more down the wall that I can't get on camera.
That's why you're called the Mad Hatter.
There you go.
For a reason. You need to change your name to the Mad Hatter.
The Mad Hatter. You gotta change your name to Nasty Nate, and then I'll do that.
I told you I can't do that.
What
man.
the hell?
I'm the host.
You gotta put it down as Nasty Nate, that Mad Yenser's best friend.
Oh. I'm a host, man. There's no Nasty Nates in this host. Thank you.
Oh, come on, man.
It could be.
All righty, moving on. Sonia. Sonia.
All right, I gotta remind me.
Yeah, so I'm excited that we got JC Horn back. I'm definitely glad they extended him. They extended David Moore. Of course, they brought back this dude that I really wasn't familiar with, Nick Scott. They said he's a veteran safety. I don't know the dude. I'm gonna be honest.
He played on the Rams for a while. He was pretty good. He was decent.
Yeah, they gave him a 1-year deal. They just signed him on yesterday, as a matter of fact. Like just yesterday. I don't even know when this stuff's when is the deadline for these signings? I feel like they say the trade deadline is here, and then there's a trade again. And I'm like, wait a minute. I thought
it was a deadline. Still going. Like this is like the dog days now.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, like everybody's grabbing. So I do not like that they had 21 unrestricted free agents, and a lot of them were defensive players. And I do not like that they let Shaq Thompson. I mean, I don't know the rules about free agency and stuff. Maybe you guys could break that down to me. I know it's kind of like, okay, they put a franchise tag on somebody, they see if somebody will buy them. Free agents is like, okay, my contract is up. Does that
whoever
person
the highest bidder is a lot of times they go to the highest bidder, whoever
that's what I
gives
thought.
The most money.
So basically, right, that's my point. So basically, the Panthers weren't willing to give him any more money. Now let's be clear, he has been hurt quite a bit as of late, and so his stock has gone down. And so he's probably going to be. I don't think he'll be a front runner for someone else's defense. I don't think he goes home. That's for sure. Somebody's going to pick him up. But there were 21 freaking free agents. I mean, let's be clear.
That's a lot for a young team. Wow.
Yeah, but they brought back Andy Dalton. He was one of those people. AD.
Red Rocket.
Red Rifle. They brought back Austin Corbett, who was the corner. Brady Christensen as well. Tommy Tremble. I'm glad about them bringing him back. The tight end Ian Thomas, even though they got AT, they still have Ian Thomas there. He actually, they let him go to Las Vegas. My bad. He left. On March 25th. So they didn't sign him. And Felipe Franks, we don't care. He went to the Falcons on March 20th. And so basically, let's see who else. They brought back Mike Jackson, the cornerback,
Mhm.
and they got rid of the safety, Xavier Woods. He went to Tennessee. And they also sent S. Jordan Fuller to the Falcons, and they kept Nick Scott and Sam Franklin, and they got rid of Lonnie Johnson to the Vegas Raiders. I always, I always want to give them another city.
You want to say Oakland?
Yeah, I always want to say it. Yeah. And then they got rid of Johnny Hecker, which I was shocked because Johnny Hecker has been a great punter for us for a long time. And he went to Tennessee on March 11th. We did keep
Tennessee just taking all your cookies.
Yeah, but we did keep Eddie P, our kicker. We kept him, so that's great. Eddie Pinero, great. And then JJ Jansen, they re-signed him on Valentine's Day, the line safety. Basically, now I don't know what's not tendered, you guys. Is that when they just can't come up with something, or he's not there? Raheem Blackshear was on that list as running back.
It's like very small deal. Like they tender him for a year or something like that. They bring it.
Okay, well that's he's a 1 year. Yeah, deal. And so I'm not. That's a lot of people, like y'all said. That's a lot of people. Like on a 52-man roster, you've got like close to half of them. Like I don't like the organization. I think that the franchise as a whole is still not organized. And I mean, I'm going to just put a pin in that part because I know you guys got to keep going, but this is a Tepper issue. This is a management issue since Tepper came in, and he slowly started relinquishing some of the responsibilities over to the right people. But I think this is all back to him. And I think until that's cleaned up all around, right now you just have some cobwebs that are still there in the rooms that people haven't gotten to the corners yet and cleaned out.
Real quick, Sonia, I just want your opinion. What are your thoughts? Were you surprised that J.C. Horn got that huge of a deal?
Who?
J.C. Horn, your cornerback.
Yes, I really was.
I think everybody was.
I really was. The Panthers are noted to have used, they're like in the top 5 teams that have used a bulk of their money already. When you're talking about salary cap, I think they had already used like 75 million or something like that, but it didn't leave a lot of money. Whatever maybe it was 115. I was looking at something like that. Give me 1 second. And so I felt like when they paid that amount of money, you're not leaving any money to do anything else with anybody else. Let me see real quick. I just want to tell you, hang on. Here we go.
I mean,
so,
he was the highest paid before.
Yeah. And so now the Panthers only have, this is what's ridiculous. Because of that, now we only have $21.6 million in cap space left. That is nothing. What are we going to do with that? Are you freaking kidding me?
And 10 million is going to go to your draft class, just to say that. So you really have 10 million.
Oh my gosh. I'm telling you, that's why I was like, I saw it and I had to double check over here. They have $21.6 million and you're cranking out money like you have the U.S. Mint in your backyard to J.C. Horn, who, in my opinion, has just not been like he was the explosive player when he first came. Yeah. I do not believe in rewarding people with money to get them to stay when their performance has not matched their pay. That is a big pet peeve of mine.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but in this day and age, free agency has gotten so out of hand, and signing players has gotten so out of hand. It doesn't even make a difference no more. It's like you pay a quarterback that has a subpar season, but then the next quarterback after him has to get paid more, and he had a worse season than the subpar one. Yeah, exactly. That's just the way it's going to work in the NFL until somebody controls that situation. And I can tell you, it's not going to be Goodell because he's the devil. But anyway, the point. Let's get to the next one. Are we?
We forgot Monkey.
Yeah, no, Monkey. Forget Monkey. I didn't forget Monkey.
Oh,
there you go.
Nobody forgets the Monkey.
Nobody forgets.
As far as free agency is
nobody puts you in the corner.
Yeah, no corners.
Okay.
But so we lost Mac Hollins, released Von Miller. I think our biggest issues that I have with our free agency was letting Rasul Douglas go. But
still out there.
And I would like Mac Hollins, to him have stayed, but he left. But he did his greatest season was with the Buffalo Bills, so I don't know what he's going to do over in New England. Yeah, you got Joey Bosa to replace Von Miller. He's basically a younger version. You get what you get. If it wasn't for our two edge rush or defensive players I talked about earlier, with their little drug issue or whatever performance enhancement issue.
Oh, they got buzzer PDs.
Yeah, one they knew about, and then the other they didn't know about. That was a surprise. So now we got two players out for the first 6 games of the season.
Yep.
And so, I mean, there's nothing I really don't like about what we did. I mean, we were strapped for cap space. Re-signing Josh Allen freed up some more cap space. Re-signing Christian Benford to this deal that we just signed him actually freed up some cap space.
And you extended Hamlin too, right? Or you guys re-signed Hamlin, right? DeMar Hamlin.
Yeah, DeMar Hamlin's back.
I knew that was
he'll
coming.
eventually. Yeah, we're not gonna let him go. He's probably gonna retire as a Bill.
He's a Bill for life.
Yeah, definitely.
He
died on their field. He almost died on their field. Well, not on their field.
You got to keep him free.
Well, yeah, I think the Bills did fine with what they could do. Signing players that we needed to sign ensured our future. Didn't really go after too many. We didn't go after any like big name receivers. We got a few, lesser, but we showed last year that we didn't need that. We don't need that Diggs diva bullshit.
You mentioned Rasul Douglas. Could you re-sign him still? I mean, if he comes back on a friendlier deal, because I mean he was a good cornerback for y'all.
Yeah, it's a possibility, but I don't see it happening. It would be cheaper just to draft one.
It's fair.
And we still got to worry about our, defense yet as a whole against that run. So that's why I think we'll draft defensive heavily. We'll probably get a receiver in the draft, but that wouldn't be until like the second or third round.
Does the panel have any questions for Monkey on his team?
I have a question. I have a question. I just wanted to know, because we brought up DeMar Hamlin. I don't know if that was a rumor or not when he was talking about the fact that he had ties to Pittsburgh and that he, actually thought about going to Pittsburgh to end his career. Did that draw any more attention, or is that pretty much a wrap? Like he will stay with the Bills pretty much forever?
Well, I could see him going there maybe like on his last contract because he is a Pittsburgh native.
That is true.
But again, it's
seems like it'd be a slap in the face though now.
Yeah, he owes the world to Buffalo, and kind of like what we talk about Max Crosby. Max Crosby was never leaving Vegas.
But he also brought up. Yeah, he also brought up playing for Pittsburgh like years ago. This isn't anything new. This is something that's been out and about for years. That he always said he eventually wanted to go to Pittsburgh so he could retire as in his hometown.
Yeah, and he still could. I mean, he could sign a one day deal or something like that.
Right.
You see players do that all the time. All right. And our final question.
Who do you think your team will draft in April?
All right, Sonia, we'll let you go first.
Oh my gosh, why did you come to me first?
Just pick a look at the draw. You got 3 choices. Okay, Monkey.
I was gonna say I'm not Sonia.
Yeah,
I got you.
I do like your members only jacket, man.
One name.
Feeling that.
Rapid fire. Boom.
When has it ever been one word with her? Sorry, Sonia.
Oh,
Wait, what
Hey, Sonia.
Damn.
Sonia
Hey,
speaks
you
the words.
better be
Yeah,
careful,
smack
man.
you through the screen.
You better be
Right.
careful, dude.
I'm gonna
I'm
smack
giving
you.
you trauma, Sonia. You know your shit. You're good.
They may get, I like Mike Green, especially now that Jay's done this presentation of him. We need an edge. We need an edge rusher. That's our top
don't?
need.
You just
I
want to
wouldn't be
see Lions
surprised.
fans
At
miserable,
8?
don't you?
At 8?
You just want to see us miserable, don't you?
Yep. If we don't get Mike Green, Donovan Izaraka is a good person. Izaruka, I guess I pronounce his name, from Boston College. Elijah Ponder, or we could go with a wide receiver, even though they're saying they're not. Basically, we need a wide receiver. So, like McMillan, I talked about him earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Alec Ayamana, he's a good one. Ayamana from Stanford. Jalen Noel is another good one for wide receiver. Or if we go to cornerback, I know this person won't still be available, but if he is, Travis Hunter, okay? Travis Hunter as cornerback, or if he's not there, then Benjamin Morrison from Notre Dame or Mac Williams. Now, because we're projected to take a defensive person off the rip, we'll probably go with Mason Graham for that number 8 pick. That's probably going to be who it is.
That's a nice pick, man. Mason Graham. I wish he was going to, I wish he'd become a Lion. Wish it was some way, somehow we can.
He's going to another cat.
Is he a 3 tech or is he a nose tackle?
He's a 3 tech.
He is a defensive tackle.
We already have Mac. Why do you want another 3 tech?
I mean, I know I'm going to catch a lot of flack for this, but I'd definitely much rather have Mason Graham. Mason Graham.
See?
No. Then McNeil. The thing is that I know y'all gonna kill me for saying this, but Mason Graham, knock on wood, has not suffered any major injuries that we have known of. McNeil has 2 already, lower body.
Can we put a little disclaimer on the bottom? Jay is a huge Michigan fan.
Yes, huge Michigan
fan. I can tell.
There might be a little biases towards his opinions. I'm surprised you didn't have Josiah Stewart as number 1.
No, definitely not.
You actually had a suck guy
definitely
in second.
not.
I'll give you that. I'll give you props on that.
Hey, listen, I'm non-biased, but I mean, think about it. McNeil, 2 major lower body injuries.
But just based on injuries, man.
But he's played in the NFL.
I get that.
Graham has not done that yet.
It's
so
the experience.
You can't pit a college player against a pro player and point out the pro players' discrepancies because they played.
If Jay had his way, he'd probably have all Michigan on the roster.
All Michigan players on there. Yeah.
Nah, I would only take about 3 to 4 people on that Michigan defense. One being Will Johnson. That's my number 1 right there. Will Johnson, Mason Graham,
take Loveland.
No, because we got Sam Laporta.
Oh, but
shoot, you can have Loveland too. Now that's
hey, whoa! Colston Loveland right there is a hit. The name alone,
he's a hit. But I mean, we got Laporta. But we got Laporta.
The name alone,
It's Lapati.
but
he shits on
and that's it really. Kenneth Grant, did I say him? But I digress.
So I went from me to right over to Jay off the rip.
No,
not at all. I'm across to the panel. I'm on the panel.
I do love
so Sonia, you want Graham or Grant, right?
Mm-hmm.
Off rip. Okay. There you go.
There's your answer. That would be good pairing with Derek Brown. I like Derek Brown.
Next. Who wants to go next? Robbie or Kevin? Which one?
Let Kevin go next.
All right,
you let Kevin go next.
Well, regardless of what most people think, most of the drafts that I've seen come out, the mock drafts, I have agreed with, which is usually Kenneth Grant that usually falls into our laps. And if it's not him, it's usually another defensive tackle, like Nolan. He's another one that seems to fall into there in some mock drafts. And the only one I've really they keep talking about a wide receiver, maybe trading up for a wide receiver because they're predicting a lot of teams are going to try to trade back in this draft because of where they sit and where the quality players and what they need. They just don't align. So, I mean, it is a possibility, but Bean's never moved up in a draft before. So, I mean, unless there's someone.
Israel have to move up. Who do you want, Mecca?
Yeah, I like that Emeka Egbuka guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to trade up in before 20 probably to get him.
Let me tell you something about Nolan Monkey, because he was a former Aggie, and I followed a lot of his film. He was the #1 player in college, came to A&M, was really highly touted, but just didn't pan out. Like, you just didn't see it on the film. And then he went to Ole Miss, played a little bit better. This is a guy who I think will be a better pro than a college player, because in college he wasn't that good. But I think he'd be a better pro because of his size and the get off he has. Like, that would be an interesting pick with Ed Oliver. I would like to see that pairing with Nolan and Ed Oliver together. Because I think
I definitely think it has.
That'd be
I
dope.
think it has to deal with what pieces surround him as well. I think it matters where he gets drafted, what team he gets drafted on, how well he will actually do in the NFL.
Right. Because he's underachieved.
And I do think, I saw some of his highlights, and there wasn't really much to see. I mean, he showed some flashes and everything. He does have some stuff he has to work on, but like I said, like you just brought up Ed Oliver, and you have Greg Rousseau on the other side of him. It's a nice little group to have right there. Not to mention Milano's right behind you.
Yeah, definitely. All right, Robbie, you're up.
Oh shit! The mock draft, most of the mock drafts I've read, they got us going defense with Kenneth Grant at 21. I don't want that, dude. I think the Steelers invested too much in the defense. It's time to go to the offensive side of the ball. I'm thinking it's a low risk reward. You take Jackson Dart, it's a low risk reward at 21. So, like, if it don't work out, then it's not really a big deal, because it's not a top 10 pick or a top 15. But I'm hoping Jackson Dart from Ole Miss or wide receiver Emeka Egbuka from Ohio State. And my dark horse, slot receiver. And my dark horse and my third pick, I would love the Steelers take. Like, I would actually make an exception for this dude, is defensive end Michael Williams out of Georgia.
Okay. I like that.
You like that pick? That's actually a good pick.
Hold up, though, but you got a slot receiver.
I know you're trying to be like the Lions.
Yeah, but no, because Roman Wilson's supposedly,
and he hasn't even played. Well, yeah, Roman Wilson is the guy.
He's still from what I heard, that ankle injury was he had more than one injury, and he still might be injured.
He'll be fine.
And that they really like Emeka Egbuka from Ohio State.
I will say this.
Steelers love receivers.
Matt Hatter, I will say this. If I think Jackson Dart's going to go higher, because a lot of people have him around the top 10 or a little outside the top 10. Maybe the Saints or I don't know what.
They'll probably trade up. If they get a quarterback, they're trading up.
Yeah, but if you don't do that, you do need to replace Cam Hayward at some point.
But you got to note this: if Shedeur Sanders, like, there was rumors that he was going to drop. If he drops, the Steelers can try to trade up and get him.
Yeah,
Saints will get him if he won't drop.
They'll trade up. They'll probably trade up and get him if he drops. It's not guaranteed. Saints will take a quarterback.
They need a quarterback.
They need one.
They need one.
They could wait till wait till next year.
They should trade Carr to y'all's team, and then they draft the quarterback.
No, I don't want. No,
he didn't want to stay there anyway. He doesn't want to.
I want a young quarterback.
Now you're just being bad, Nate. That's not right.
Hey,
there's that nasty Nate. That's why you're nasty, Nate.
They got
even if they sign Aaron Rodgers, quarterback still a need.
Oh,
yeah. Well, I agree on that. Yeah, because y'all let Justin Fields walk out the door.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers, that would be a 1-year deal. Like, I don't want Kirk Cousins.
They didn't let him. He walked because
like a Kirk Cousins mistake, like the Falcons did, and it's such a mess.
By the way, there's a little bit of not breaking news, but something like a little news in behind that. Kirk Cousins is also being looked at by Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
No, please no.
It's just in Ohio.
Hold on.
I was literally
Yeah, but they said
I thought that was.
They're looking.
He said he gonna shop himself. He don't care what the Falcons say.
Literally,
He gonna shop himself.
the Steelers.
I didn't know if that was real or not. I was just looking at.
I don't
that.
blame
Kirk Cousins. Like I'd rather have Derek Carr.
Grifter.
I don't blame
He's
Kirk
a grifter.
Cousins.
I'm sorry.
I don't blame Kirk
I never
Cousins
met
at all.
anybody. I never met anybody who can get paid so much money for doing absolutely nothing.
And
he don't want
to stay in Atlanta. He went to Arthur Blank. Like, I don't want to be number 2. And they're like, well, you're going to sit down and go in the corner.
I'm
I'm
not saying he don't do nothing. He's a regular season quarterback. If you could get a quarterback that can be a regular season quarterback and then a quarterback that can be a
But the thing is that how old is Kirk Cousins? Like 37, 38? And he's just coming off of an Achilles injury.
No, he just sucks. I don't care what his age is.
He's had a major injury. I don't know how he's going to bounce back from that.
I'll play devil's advocate for a sec. His best season was with 2 good receivers, Thielen and Diggs.
Yep.
You've got 2 really good receivers in Pittsburgh with Pickens and Metcalf. That's all.
Oh no! You take that Kirk Cousins bullshit somewhere else.
I'd rather have Kirk Cousins than Mason Rudolph. That's for damn sure.
I'd rather have Mason Rudolph. At least why would I want Kirk Cousins? Why would I want his contract?
You're not getting his contract. It's already paid.
He already paid. He coming.
I still don't want him.
All his contract is guaranteed. That's why Atlanta won't let him go because Atlanta's a bunch of shysters.
Okay. So
I want a quarterback with mobility. Not a human statue.
Okay, Matt Hatter. Would you rather have him, who's low key? Yes, he takes a lot of money, but he can still play. Or would you rather have Rodgers' bum ass, who's full of drama and full of issues?
Rodgers.
Oh wow!
I'll take Rodgers all day.
Well, that's who you're getting too.
Wow!
I don't want Kirk Cousins.
Rodgers
He's a human statue. Kirk Cousins is a human statue in that pocket. I'm good.
Is he going to create? Look, listen. Is he going to create a handshake with what's the receiver's name over there? Pickens, like he did with Garrett. Is they going to do some crazy like handshake?
Yeah, it's this.
Yeah, you know.
How many playoff wins has Kirk Cousins got again?
How many what?
Playoff wins Kirk Cousins got again?
0.
About 2 when they were
and you want me to take a dude with 0 playoff
Minnesota
wins?
Miracle? Come on,
That's
Minnesota Miracle. That was a playoff win.
Miracle.
Yeah.
When was this?
You know what's so funny about
how many
this
wins?
conversation? You know what's so funny about this conversation, guy and lady? That we're talking about people's personality in the beginning, about how people don't like their personality, but they play. Well, Aaron Rodgers, nobody likes his personality, but the dude can play ball.
He's a winner.
The guy's a winner. He's playing playoff games, but you don't want him. And then Kirk Cousins, he's kind of a okay guy. You know, he doesn't do stuff to Aaron Rodgers, but he's a regular season quarterback. So I mean, that's just
he's
the
a
way
grifter.
it is.
He's a grifter.
I mean, you hook somebody up with the right situation that they might surprise you. That's all I got to say.
The main thing is the Steelers did this to themselves. Like they didn't have a plan of moving off of Justin Fields, and this is where they are. They're looking under rocks for everybody. I mean, last time I checked,
they don't know how to
Tony
draft
Romo might be
quarterbacks.
available.
They don't know how to get quarterbacks. That's all there is to it. They're not a quarterback. I mean, Ben Roethlisberger fell in their lap. That was a good thing, but they just can't get out of it. Mike Tomlin doesn't know how to do any of that anyway. He's a defensive-minded guy. He's not an offensive-minded guy.
Yeah.
This is why he has problems with the damn receivers.
Mike Tomlin's biggest mistake was getting rid of Bruce Arians, the offensive coordinator. That was his biggest mistake.
Ben Roethlisberger also was retiring too.
He got Bruce now, so there's that.
Bruce Arians was like before he left, he was the one who developed quarterbacks there. He developed Ben Roethlisberger.
Hey, Big Ben said he would play. Sign him up.
Big Ben can't throw anymore. As much as I love Big Ben, he can't throw anymore.
I think he's got as much chance of playing in the NFL as Cam Newton does.
I think
or Colin Kaepernick or Dez Bryant.
But Kirk Cousins, no, I don't want him.
Jay, what'd you say? I know you got a roll. You said, you didn't? Okay.
No,
I'm sorry.
I'm
I
just
don't want
listening
Aaron
to you
Rodgers.
guys.
All right.
No.
Well,
but really, to B's point, really quick, I'm not going to really say much on that. But to B's point, he really just made a absolutely great point. We're talking about the personalities of these guys, but some of these dudes can play ball still. I mean, if you look at Aaron Rodgers' stats over the last 6 games of last season, he had like good numbers. You know, he just played for a trash organization. You know, now Kirk Cousins, that's a different story. You can tell that he was still kind of getting used to being on the field again when he popped his Achilles, after he popped his Achilles. So, you know, I mean, Rodgers can play ball.
The reality is in free agency, it's all about the feel of the player and the fit. Like that's really what it comes down to. If the player feels right for your culture, or feels right for your team, and do they fit your culture, and do they fit your scheme? Like right now, yes, Rodgers can still play. He's still got an arm, and he's got two receivers that he can throw the ball to down the field along with Freiermuth. Like it makes more sense to go with Rodgers. But I can see why they don't want to take Rodgers on because of his antics, you know, the way he's kind of like half in, half out, you know. Does he want to play? Does he not want to play? You know, I get it.
That's probably the main reason why I don't want him here is because of the antics and the attitude. Like, come on. He was fifth in touchdowns last season.
There you go.
MVP. He's been MVP 2 times already, so yeah.
So that decided for you. You guys.
He's a 4-time MVP, my man.
If he comes, he's a bridge. Obviously, he's a bridge quarterback. But I heard he wants a 2-year contract instead of a 1-year contract.
Yeah, no, I don't know if you get 2 years out of.
Like the rumor here was
1 year with a player option or something. Maybe
the rumor was he wanted a 2-year, like $75 million contract.
Damn.
I thought it was
100. And I think that's a little too much for Aaron Rodgers.
Well, I mean, Russell Wilson got how much? Russell Wilson got 20, right?
It can be up to $21 million, but he got
Rodgers will probably get around the same. Yeah, he's
but Wilson, he got up to 20. It could be up to 21 mil.
Yeah, that's probably the standard probably for those quarterbacks.
I'm convinced that I'm going to go ahead and tuck the rest of the hair I have left since I've cut this side and suit up and go out and play for one game, get my contract, and go home. And then I'll go on here and tell you guys all about it while I'm a millionaire.
There you go. Hell, I think we should all do that, man. Let's all go get our bag and then we can get off.
Cut your Sonya side chains. Cut your Sonya side chains.
I'll just be you funny.
I love it. That's your name, my show.
There you go.
Hey, all right.
Side chains.
All right. Well, we got about about a little bit over 10 minutes left in the show. Anything else on y'all's mind? They want to talk about your teams? I mean, what you got?
Nope.
Speak now, forever hold your peace. What's up, Jay?
Nope.
Come on, Monkey. Did Matt Collins really leave because y'all wanted him to wear shoes?
What happened?
Was that the Falcon fan that was up here for like
I was just going to say, what happened to him? He said something and then he just
scared him, Jay. You scared him.
Ooh.
Oh, come on.
He's in Atlanta. We're supposed to be getting some storms, but not till tomorrow.
He saw a look on your face. He saw a look on your face when you talked about Mike Green.
I think he saw Sonya that she was a Panther fan, and he's like,
it ain't even identified. And let me tell you guys what's crazy. As soon as I saw his little like wrinkled up flag backdrop, I was like, okay. It
Who got scared Panther fans?
It looks like he got it off a set of MASH. Y'all remember MASH?
Oh
God, Sonya.
And so I started looking for my Panthers backdrop because I never use it because I'm always doing proper. And I couldn't find it. And as soon as I went back to the screen, he was like freaking gone. I was like, oh, okay, don't even worry about it.
It's that.
We need to have a South debate.
That's that NFC South hate.
Yeah, and I live in Atlanta, so there's that.
We'll be having one of those debates coming on here during the off season too.
How is that, Sonya? Because you do live in Atlanta. How is it being a Panther fan in the dirty Birdland? Hey,
Let me tell you. So as of last year, I've literally lived here longer than I lived in the Carolinas. I moved here in 2001. I was 26. I'm 50 now. So I've literally been here longer than I lived in the Carolinas. And I kind of, the Braves have already been my team because we didn't have a baseball team. I kind of teeter with the Hawks and the Hornets. That's okay. But the Falcons and Panthers, absolutely not. I will not go over to the Falcon side unless they sell the Panthers and move them to California. That's gonna be the only way. But the thing is, like, everybody that's been on my show knows that I dedicate my show to my uncle that passed a couple of years ago. He was like my second dad. I call him my dunkle. That it's all his fault, because when I first moved here and I started going to games and getting into football, I would call him and be like, "Oh snap, we beat y'all," and he was like, "Who is we?" I was like, "The Falcons," and he was like, "Oh no." He's like, "You were born." He's like, "You were born, raised, and educated right here in Carolina. Do not ever claim." And so it bothers me when I see South Carolina people root for the Falcons, because I'm like, yo, the Panthers
y'all are part of the
both
Carolinas.
States. They're both states in one team. They're literally on the border. And so it's rough during the season because I have personalized tags on my truck that literally tell you I'm a Panthers fan. And the year we were undefeated and we lost to them, I felt sick like somebody died, because we were undefeated and like that second to the last game, we lost to the Falcons. I damaged my other truck because I was so mad. I was arguing with people and I drove under a tree limb and it scratched up my whole hood leaving the parking lot.
You want to take all that Panther stuff off?
It was bad. I mean, I really go hard so bad, y'all, that I had to come off Facebook during football season because some of my church elders are on my page and I was on there cursing everybody out. I'm talking about them, that's everybody. Crazy. And some of the deacons was like, "Wow, we didn't know you were that." I was like, "Yes, I am that serious."
She said, "Don't play about my football."
For my Panthers, when y'all are garbage, get y'all a ring.
Yeah. You know something, Sonya, you said something. You're like, how can South Carolina fans root for Falcons? That's how I feel about people from like West Michigan. They root for the Packers or something. It's just like
or UP.
Yeah, or the UP. Like, yeah, you know, y'all are still Michigan, right?
That's crazy.
You know, Packer fans, like,
well, it's probably because isn't UP them. Closer to Wisconsin or something?
It is closer to Wisconsin. Yes, it definitely is.
It's still part of Michigan.
Right.
It's Michigan.
Oh my gosh.
You know,
I feel the same way.
That your license doesn't say Wisconsin, close to Wisconsin. It says
Thank
Michigan.
you.
You know
Thank
what I mean?
you.
So
where do you pay your taxes?
Michigan. Gretchen Whitmer makes decisions for this state, not whoever's the governor.
I mean, I get people always trying to tell me, you know, since I've been here longer, they've been trying to recruit me for years. Let's be honest. The year they went to the Super Bowl, I did dial it back a little bit. I wore red and black on their little game day because I was working in the courts that year.
That's why they lost.
Let me tell you, that weekend was my birthday, right? And so
I had the dark side.
Yeah, I had Panther stuff all over my desk, and I was working in the court. So when the public come in, they would always be like, "Oh, you in the wrong state. You know, you need to go back to Carolina." I was like, "Listen, are you here to be serviced? You know, to take care of your business, or are you trying to come for my team? Because I'm here to try to take care of you as a customer. You know, you coming to us for service. Leave my team alone." Well, when they got ready to go to the Super Bowl, so many deputies was like, "We got some shirts for you." I was like, "No, you don't have no shirts for me because you know y'all are gonna be donating. You know, Goodwill's gonna be packed with donations of Falcon shirts when the Super Bowl is over with." So I was going out of town. I always travel. I always go out of the country on my birthday, whatever. And I didn't think they were going to show it. I was going on a cruise. This whole cruise was nothing but Falcon jerseys everywhere because they didn't want the Patriots to win. So I was going around. I had my Cam Newton jersey on. I was like, "Oh, are you guys from Georgia?" "No." I said, "Not from Atlanta?" "No, we just hate the Patriots." I was like, "This ocean is going to be full of jerseys in the morning when this game is over with." They were so mad that I wasn't.
Oh my gosh.
You know, the Falcons. I was like, "No, they're in our division. If they win, then we're going to be the only ringless team in the division. I don't want that." Well, when they had picture day for work, they were like, "Yeah, when you come back, your whole desk going to be covered with red and black confetti." And we, you know, I said, "Oh, okay." So I thought about it and I was like, "Well, a broke clock is right twice a day. They may win the Super Bowl. Let me just take all my stuff down. I don't want to give them the pleasure of, you know, toxing up my desk."
And
you know,
then they got their bus kicked.
I put my stuff up, y'all, and my desk was clear, like nobody sat there because I was like, "You're not gonna, you know, defecate my area, my sanctuary." So when I came back, y'all, it was so quiet. It was like I came at the Tuesday after the Super Bowl, so I was like, "Hi guys, I'm back," and I pretended I didn't know. I was like, "Did anybody get a chance to watch the game? It's so quiet here. Nobody."
Oh no, you didn't.
And they were like, "It's too early." I was like, "But I had watched the game on the ship. I just wanted to see if they were going to come cocky." I was like, "Well, I told you guys before I left that if you didn't win, you were gonna wish my desk was in a broom closet because that was gonna be your worst nightmare. So get over it. We lost the Super Bowl the previous year, and I didn't get no slack. So payback's the mother. Let me put all my champion stuff up right now. The Panther stuff, we're still the champs compared to you guys. We didn't blow a lead. So yeah, it's been rough. A lot of people, don't say anything to me the whole year. They come for me on Facebook. So y'all will see it. Everybody that follows me on there, you'll see me with the back and forth because I bring it.
That's like Lions. That's like Lions fans. I mean, we haven't been to Super Bowl yet, but we haven't lost one either. So
Thank you.
We're
even. I don't like when
but something that hurts. That hurts, man. Look, we are literally the only non-expansion team that has never been to the Super Bowl. What the F, man?
It is what it is.
But I roll with you guys.
Let's not bring up old stuff.
I'd rather not have gone.
Thank you.
Yes, I agree. I'd rather not have gone and have a clean record. I agree.
Then
but no. See, I don't agree with that. I don't agree.
It depends on how old you are. How old are you guys?
Because we're one of the oldest
old
teams
enough
in the
to watch
league.
4 Super Bowls.
Look. Well, hold on. I would rather go to a girl's house and get rejected rather than not being invited at all. That's how it is for Lions fans. Because we have never been to the dance. We have been to the NFC Championship game twice, and we lost both times. Like, I'd rather be like, hey, yeah, you can come over, but that's it. Rather than be like, no, you can't come over at all.
I agree with you, but right now, I'd rather have an even clean slate until we win one.
Nah, I mean, damn it! If we went to the Super Bowl and lost,
I don't want to be the Buffalo Bills and lose 4 in a row or lose 4
time out though.
In a row, y'all went back to back and lost every one of them.
4 times.
But dig this, think about this.
Leave Monkey
as
alone.
Lions fans, right? He's just sitting there chilling, catching strays.
I'm sorry.
But think about this, Nate. You go to a Super Bowl.
4 Super Bowls.
If the Lions go to a Super Bowl and lose, do you know how bad that would be for the state of Michigan and how crazy it would be? Versus if the Bills went to the Super Bowl, no, you know what? If the Panthers went to the Super Bowl and lost, nobody would bat an eyelash but Panther fans. But if the Lions go to a Super Bowl, considering they've never been there, you're the oldest team in the league that's never been there.
They tearing up all y'all downtown.
Crazy.
Okay. So I gotta ask you this question: would you rather?
What's left of not renovated down there?
Would you rather be in a Super Bowl?
Hold on, time out. What was that?
I said, whatever is left of Detroit that hasn't been renovated or gentrified, because I'm familiar with Detroit.
I thought
whatever
you were
they
saying
have not already gone in and condominiums out.
Well, the city is fine. It's the outside of the city that needs to be fixed up a little bit, and that's coming along pretty good too. They're starting to make
Detroit coming along
too, so.
I heard they were trying to make it all farmland.
Here's a question, Jay. Here's a question for you.
Just giving people property.
Would you rather be in the Super Bowl and lose 4 times, or would you rather not be there at all?
Super Bowl 4 times because I get a full NFL season watching my team.
Oh wow! And lose
I'm
every
just
time.
Being honest.
I could swallow 4 Super Bowl losses.
And lose every time. Maybe
and lose
twice.
every time. And lose every time. Why? Because
I'm sorry, Monkey.
I'm sorry.
Let Monkey talk.
I don't want to gang up on him. I feel bad.
Do this. No, see, I envy.
I'm used to this.
Like Buffalo
shit.
And Minnesota. We're the Lions. We have never been to a Super Bowl. All 3 of you at the bottom been to a Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. Whether you won or lost, you've been to a Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
So it's easy to speculate to everybody from the outside. Oh well, I'd rather not have lost 4 Super Bowls. I'd just not gone to one. No. You ain't our franchise. You are not the Detroit Lions, so you cannot say that.
Literally,
when
the
you're
worst
Detroit
luck.
Lions, and you cannot win. You haven't been in a Super Bowl as long as Super Bowl's been
there's
out.
no runner-up trophy. There's no second-best Super Bowl.
It actually kind of is a runner-up trophy because at least you were the NFC or AFC champion.
Because
the Lions don't know what that feels like.
That's like the victory no cigar. Like no, I don't want to be there and not win. Like that would devastate me because you were that close to getting a championship and it didn't happen.
Yeah, the commissioner should let y'all win just for them to get up there and
at least you can say, hey, you know what? We were the best team in our conference.
That's moral victories talk.
At the very least, you can say that. But you can't go and say, well, I mean, if I were to sit here and smack talk Sonya, right? She can be like, well, at least my team been to a Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? Viking fans do it.
And
they
win
too.
You know, and what can you say? No matter how many times the Lions can beat the Panthers and they can do whatever they want to, she can be like, well, at least
you know how to shut down that conversation? How many rings you got? Exactly.
I mean,
And
but
I'll
they
be
can
like,
say,
how many
yeah, but how many
NFC rings y'all
opportunities
got?
do we have?
And I'll be like,
compared to
how
what
many
you had?
NFC rings y'all got? Then they
Runner-ups.
they do get a little trophy.
You know how you shut down runner-ups? It's all for nothing if you don't get a Super Bowl.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You gotta win it.
Take that runner-up trophy and go
That's
somewhere
coming
with
from
it.
a Pittsburgh Steelers fan who has
Okay,
a trophy.
Here's the thing.
That's what I'm saying. There's no comparison between the Lions
gre-
and any you three in the bottom. None.
I'm greedy, man.
Carolina is one of the newest damn franchises.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're just 33 years old.
And they got it. They've been
34.
in 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
2.
Yeah,
And,
we
and
did
like
the
I
first
said,
5
man,
years
and
for the
I'm
first
gonna
one.
leave it with this. Like I said, we are considered the worst franchise in sports history. Not in football, not in
wouldn't that be the
basketball, not in
Browns?
baseball.
I don't know. Browns are.
Browns.
But I mean, the Browns are an expansion
1A,
team,
1A,
right?
1A.
The Browns are an expansion team. The Lions aren't.
No,
The Lions aren't an
What are you
expansion
talking
team.
about? The Browns and the Browns.
Actually,
the Browns have been for the
they're
Lions
not
a
really
long time.
not really an expansion team. That would be the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The Browns have
They,
been
they
for
stole the
Lions.
Browns.
Yeah.
They
Yes.
stole the good Browns from the Browns, and then Browns didn't have a team for 9 years, 7 years. something like
The
that.
reality-
And they
the
got
reality-
Hayward back.
And
The
here
reality-
we are, still ringless.
Yep.
You know, and when we talk about sports, any team with the Lions could be as good as they were last year. And anytime anybody walks in, they like, oh, we could beat Detroit. This is Detroit. That's always an argument. It's Detroit. No matter how good the Lions are, you get no respect.
Nate, are you doing
people
the same
always,
thing I'm doing? Oh,
Absolutely, I am.
I was
Always
literally
succeed.
doing
I'll
the
tell you.
same
I'll tell you.
thing.
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you
I
why.
didn't even see you.
Because the reality is, okay, when we lost to the Commanders, that was devastating. We can all agree on that. It took a minute for us to get over that shit, and it was devastating.
Hey, I gotta get out of here though.
Yeah, I know you guys.
Hold up, Jay, real quick. I gotta ask you this question. If we had made the Super Bowl and lost, how devastating would that have been?
That would have been very devastating, but at least I can be like, you know,
He's shaking
something.
his head.
I've
I would've
been to
dead.
a Super Bowl. I mean, any loss is devastating. I don't care if it's a meaningless loss. You sit all your starters. I'm still like taking it hard, like they just lost a very important game.
Losing in the
But
Super Bowl would have been 10 times devastating than anything I've ever faced.
But you know something. But you want to know something? Getting to the Super Bowl would have definitely like kind of solidified that this organization has changed. That these aren't the same old Lions. Anytime the Lions lose, they say same old Lions.
I guarantee.
You know,
I guarantee
and
the
getting
fan
to the
base said the
Super
same
Bowl
thing
would have
when we
did it
lost.
all that. Nobody could have said anything. Nobody could
They're
have
gonna say that
questioned this
Nate,
franchise.
they're going to say that if we win.
Exactly.
So it doesn't make a difference. If
Yeah.
the Lions
That's
win the
me,
Super
though.
Bowl, we're still going to get egged. It doesn't make
Exactly.
a difference because
And-
it took us
You're
all
the
this time to
Lions.
win a
It
Super
took
Bowl.
you almost 100
Exactly.
years, right?
Mhm.
Like
Lions fans can't be
what you have
satisfied.
told. Like, look, what you have told the what was it, the Cubs, who hasn't been to the World Series in over 100 years, and you know, like if they would have made the World Series and lost, do you think they would have like cared?
Yeah.
You know,
I think
probably
they
different
would if they
analogy,
wanna
but you
win.
know, like at least they went. There are franchises that who don't
That's
win
a
that
step.
shit.
It's always
It's a step. It's a step.
That would have been hard to swallow if we would have made it all the way to Super Bowl and lost.
Yeah.
That would have. I probably would not be on the show right now if we had lost Super Bowl.
I would be perfectly fine with that because I could say at least they know what it's like. You
I
got the
think
experience of
losing
being there.
to
You
the
got players that played there
Commanders last
on your
season would have been
team.
worse than losing the Super Bowl.
It is crippling to lose the Super Bowl. I felt like
Hell,
somebody
you got
had
that
died.
I have a question for the Panther fan, the Bill fan, and the Steeler fan. How many winless seasons have y'all had?
Winless, like 7
None.
now, almost 10.
None.
You understand? So this is the thought and psyche of a Lions fan who had to witness all of this. You know,
I haven't had no win this season, but my first year as a Steelers fan, we had 2 wins.
When you said I never had a winless
all
season,
three of
you
y'all are on this
disqualified
conversation immediately. You're all disqualified.
Oh, come on, man. You ain't
we're
the
not
worst
Browns fans.
franchise. The Browns are the worst franchise. You ain't.
Oh, you're talking about 0 and something. We've only had like
Winless seasons.
we
Yes.
went like 1 and
Yeah, I'm gonna mute my
back in
mic.
the day, but never that
You
bad.
won a game, but you won a
The
game.
only reason why the Commanders lost would have been more devastating to Super Bowl is because that's as far as we got to the Super Bowl. Like,
but damn
that's
it,
the
Nate,
thing.
at least you would have been able to experience it. What does it feel like to get to the Super Bowl? Can you explain that feeling?
You know why that Washington's game polarized me?
Yeah, be afraid to lose.
We did everything we had to do that season. I'm saying we, like I was out there playing, but the Lions had to do everything they did this season to get where they wanted to be at to get to that point.
Yeah,
it was
and just go in the first round and lose.
You couldn't tell me. You couldn't tell me y'all wasn't going to the Super Bowl. I was disgusted for y'all.
I was up there. I was crying because
that's what I'm saying.
Yep, we're going to Super Bowl.
I was watching the UFC that night. I forgot who was fighting. I forgot who was fighting, but we ordered the UFC fights that day, and I left early because I'm like, I'm devastated. I'm hurt. The Lions lost.
He went silent for a minute.
Actually, you know what? I'm gonna take that back. The worst loss was the
everybody's like, "Are you fine? Are you okay?" You know something? Yeah, that was hurting. That was hurtful and devastating.
Because
I didn't even know what to say to any of you. I was like, "Damn."
We were up at half. We were 30 minutes away. Everybody was cashing their tickets to the Super Bowl. All that shit, and then it just fell right on our face.
Right. Exactly.
And B, you want to talk about you want to bring the curse thing up? I actually think the curse is actually losing to the Niners. Like, that's the beginning of our curse, because
it's not a beginning.
Losing to the Niners,
and we pissed it away.
Hey, I do have to leave though. I have to get out of here. I got some stuff I got to take care of before
all right,
this
Jay,
storm
take it
comes
easy.
in. Yes, sir.
Right,
I appreciate everybody coming on here. I appreciate
Have a
y'all
good
having
one,
me on
man.
here.
Thank
Sonya.
you. Good to see you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like,
good job
that,
on your segment, man.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'll be getting you some more stuff over, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need your help getting me some stuff, so I'll link
I
up.
got you. Take it easy.
All right, man. Have a
God.
good one.
But
God
the
bless.
Niners, that was the most devastating, because you're up by 20 points going into the half, and it just completely goes to shit. And then the next season, everything is right in front of you, and here we go to the playoffs again, and we piss it away.
Well, that's the reason why I said that Washington Commander game was the worst, because the year before, when they lost to San Francisco, I didn't even expect them to get to that point. I did not.
But it doesn't matter.
It was
the way
year three.
It happens. The way it happened. Like,
see, this is the difference between you being the younger Lion fan and me being an older Lion fan. I've seen this stuff happen so many times before.
Not like that in a championship
back in
game,
80, yeah, in a championship game. In 84, when the Lions played San Francisco in San Francisco, they were going toe-to-toe with Joe Montana and the 49ers.
But were they on a championship game?
Yes, they were in a champion. They were in the NFC championship game.
I'm not to look at that.
And then what happened was Eddie Murray happened. So he was making all his field goals in the game. He kicked like 2 long field goals, like a 53 and a 56 or something like that. It might have been a divisional. I don't know. But anyway, he missed a field goal that would have won us the game. It was like a 49-yard field goal. He's been hitting everything all day. When you got your head coach on the sideline doing this, that tells you everything you need to know about the Lions franchise right there. That was heartbreaking right there too, because he missed the field goal. And we were right there, and we were a good team. Well, relatively a good team. I think we were like 9-7 or something when we played. But hey, we got that far. We beat a couple teams before we got to San Fran, and that's before San Fran. I think that was like just the cusp of San Fran doing their Super Bowl runs. So we would have beat Joe Montana. They would have never been the same. Gotta look at that way.
I think we can all go back to that one moment where we feel like that was the one moment that changed the trajectory for all of our seasons going forward. But I'm going to be honest, while you guys are looking up the stats, I have never felt the feeling that I felt when we lost that second Super Bowl, the most recent one. And I think it has something to do with the fact that we were literally at the top of everybody's chat, of everybody's talk, of everybody's, this is the Panthers, they're undefeated. Even with that one loss to Atlanta, it was just like, man, Cam Newton just became a dad that week. He spent the whole week in the hospital, so they get a pass. They're undefeated to everybody else. I remember listening to Dan Patrick, and he was like, defense wins championships, and this team is stacked on both sides of the ball, offensive and defensive. So literally when the Super Bowl came, I felt like, hey, we're just here. We're not worried about this game or anything. When I tell you The next day, I was physically sick. I've never watched that game to the end. Strilla's heard me say this. I think you have too, Nate. That game is still on my DVR to this day, and I've never watched the entire game.
Yeah.
Because I left at halftime. I was at one of my friends' houses, and she and all of her friends were over there, had just had babies. They're Falcon fans, and I accused them of not fully supporting the Panthers, even though they were saying they were supporting Cam. I said, no, you guys are blackballing us. I shouldn't even be here. I cried all the way home from her house. The next day, I literally, my back, my arms, everything was aching, and I had just cried all night till I went to sleep. I could not believe it. I didn't even know the final score until like a day or two later because I refused to look at anything about the Super Bowl.
The thing is with me, Sonia, is I think the worst loss would have been the one where you guys got to the Super Bowl the first time, because y'all literally had the game right there. Right there. If Tom Brady doesn't come back and win that game, y'all are champions. That would have hurt worse, in my opinion.
I think the reason why it didn't hurt that much for me then is because that was during my college years, and I really wasn't paying attention to football that much.
Oh, okay.
But Tom Brady, I mean, if that they said he came back, then the Falcons should have taken note and known that that's exactly what was going to happen to them when they went 20 years later. But it's Tom Brady.
Because y'all had Jake Delhomme, y'all had Steve Smith. Like nobody gave y'all a chance to hell in that game, and y'all balled out. Y'all balled out all the way through. I remember
Julius
watching
Peppers. I think Julius Peppers is on that team.
Yeah, Julius Peppers. Yeah, that was one of the best teams I've seen play the Patriots. And y'all had it. Y'all had it right there. And then Tom Brady comes back at the end with those classic drives, and bam.
Yeah, I might watch that one at some point, but never Super Bowl 50. I can't stomach it. And it's been 10 years this year. I didn't think they had a chance of beating Peyton Manning. He was on a tear that year. Like, let me tell you,
Peyton Manning.
People said that. And then this is all I'm going to say about it, because I know you guys got to go. When the team came out, when they showed the team coming out from the rip before they even got on the field, I had a bad feeling. I was like, this team, the energy is off. I could feel it. In my mind, I feel like everybody wanted Peyton Manning to ride off in the sun. They knew he was going to retire. They knew that was it. And there was no way you were going to send any of the Manning family home with an L at the end of their career. That's just my take. And a lot of people
also threw 50 touchdowns that year too, Sonia. he was on the tear. He threw 50 touchdowns that year. He was on a tear.
but not only that, but Cam was like
the one he went to. Wait a minute, the one he went to Carolina. I thought that was the year that he actually got benched one of the games.
Who?
Peyton Manning?
Yeah. He got benched in Hostetler. Not Hostetler. What the fuck? The guy that went to Houston. Osweiler, yeah. That was that year.
That sure was.
He made it in it, and he didn't have Peyton Manning had a horrible game in that game.
Yeah, that was
the
not
Panthers kept that game close because of their defense, because Peyton Manning played like
Von Miller with the Broncos during that time. And that's why I was like, because they had started Osweiler, and that's why I thought we had it in the bag. Not that Osweiler was going to play in the Super Bowl, but I saw that Peyton was just not himself in that game. But how else do you explain? And Cam came out last year and
shoulder.
He didn't dive for the ball. He didn't dive for the ball because the game was fixed. You didn't want Peyton Manning to lose that Super Bowl.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
He was throwing dunks
that's
when season before that happened. So
that's when Peyton Manning was having neck problems.
Yeah.
But yeah, Carolina.
Yeah, Von Miller was the MVP of that game. That's true.
Yeah,
I just expected Cam Newton to do more in that game. I really did.
They couldn't pass the ball.
That fumbling where he could have got the fumble, that pissed me off. That's when I lost a little bit of respect for Cam. I said, dude, this is the biggest game of your life. And dude fumbles the ball and it's right there at your feet. Dude, get the ball. What the hell are you doing? And he just I'm like, okay, Cam. And then you're gonna sit there and boo-hoo about it at the end of the game. Okay, I understand you lost the Super Bowl, but a lot of that's your fault because you weren't putting the effort in that game.
That's Cam Newton for you, man. Cam Newton was an enigma. You know, some days, you look like the best quarterback on the field, and there are times
he was 15-1 in a regular season. There's no excuse for that. I'm sorry. And he was the MVP, was he not? So there's no excuse for him to play like that in the Super Bowl. Just not.
To be fair, I'm going to play devil's advocate for a sec. Who was good in the NFC that year? Like that was a cakewalk for Cam that year.
Yeah. There's no cakewalk in the NFL, Nate.
I'm just saying there wasn't a lot of competition going against him. That's what I'm trying to say.
I mean,
like,
every
could have blinked his eyes.
competition.
He was the best. They were the best team. Yeah. I'm still trying
I
to figure
mean,
out.
they're just.
So the
guys,
season before that, what do you think?
I forgot I had a meeting that started at 6 with my school. Somebody just texted me like,
dang.
"Where am I?" I am so sorry, guys. I literally have to run.
No, you're good. We're about to wrap up, anyways.
But please have me on again, guys.
Thank you, Sonia. Yeah.
Yes, great fun. Y'all take care.
All right, Sonia.
Good day.
Bye.
All right. So now there's 4, like a horror movie.
One less person talking shit about the Bills. Let's go.
I know. I couldn't get a word in, but I didn't want to hurt the Panthers fans' feelings.
Robbie, you've had moments to get your word in, and you just sat there. No pity, no pity.
I can't relate to the Panthers.
All right, we're gonna wrap up the show. So we'll give y'all final words. Go ahead with Mr. Robbie first, since he doesn't say anything. Go ahead, Robbie. Say what
Final
you want to
word. Yeah. I'll kick your garbage can over.
Yep, he will.
That's all you gotta
He
say.
records it.
The whole time you're gonna say that. Man, a few words. All right, Mr. Monkey. Final words. Final thoughts.
I'd much rather go to a Super Bowl than never go. I'm sorry.
It's fair.
But it does not help to watch that documentary, The Four Falls of Buffalo. That was hard. That was a tough pill to swallow.
Yeah.
I did watch it from beginning to end, though. So kudos to me because that was bad. But it was a good documentary. It's going to be an interesting season. I'm waiting to see what happens in this draft. For multiple teams, I am a Bills fan, but I am a NFL fan, football fan all overall. But only time will tell, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think, we're still in the off season, so there's still a lot of changes to be made to some teams. We got the draft coming up. I think you're kind of seeing some of the pieces
mock
put
drafts
together
every week.
Oh wow!
Every time someone gets signed, I see I gotta go do a mock draft, and if I'm like, I think I could do better, so I'll do it again.
Who was the person you had for us? Who was the person you had for us? Just curious.
Usually it's usually an edge
model.
It's usually an edge rusher. The name escapes me right now.
What's your current draft model say?
Yeah, the current one.
My current draft model says you're probably going to go rather edge or.
But do you have a person and name that you mocked us to?
Yeah, if I could remember what the fuck his name was. I'm horrible with names.
Was he
from Georgia?
Was he from Ohio State? North Texas?
Tennessee?
A&M?
It was that JPJ was one of them. And I did like the guy from Boston College too that I brought up on Tuesday.
I need to watch that guy's film.
Hey man, there's another
JPJ. If no other guy is there, that guy falls into your lap. It's not like, oh my god, there's a huge.
I need to watch his film because I don't know who you're talking about.
It's because he's from Boston College, I think is what it is. Their team wasn't exactly great, but that doesn't mean you're not gonna have a great player. He just
I watch a lot of
like
SEC
Mike
football.
Williams did. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I watch a lot of
Mike
SEC football, so I have like most of players are SEC. Yeah.
Right. But yeah, it's that I think, and even Shamar Stewart, even if you had to trade back, it wouldn't be a bad idea. But I don't see if there wasn't for an edge, I could see you going in a different, route.
Linebacker.
Yeah, I know you don't like that idea. But I think at some point you're going to grab a linebacker, rather it be maybe not the first, but I could see a second or third round pick being a middle linebacker.
Well, I did read an article
for depth, for safety blanket, for
I did read an article that I thought was interesting that there is some kind of pattern with the Lions meeting with a lot of linebackers. And the fact is that I don't know if it's true or not, but there's rumblings that they might move off of Alex now that AG's gone, because AG and Alex were like this. He coached him in New Orleans. He coached him in Detroit. I don't know how this new linebacker coach feels about Alex when you've got Jack and Barnes, and then they could draft somebody else. And then Shep, I think Shep likes Alex a lot, but he's not as infatuated as AG was, because when Alex went down, AG was devastated. He didn't show it, but he was devastated. And then when Alex came back, AG was all smiles. So I think there's some possibility, maybe even goes to the Jets. I don't know, but I think there is some kind of thing behind that Alex could be gone, and he's getting up there in age too. So
I'm talking about that one, your middle linebacker,
Anzalone.
Alex Anzalone.
Anzalone. He could. Yins could move up and get Jalen Walker if Yins are looking for a linebacker.
We're not trading up for a linebacker, bro. We need
Jalen Walker. You want? Yeah.
But I could see us getting a linebacker second round, possibly if Campbell falls or somebody else. We'll see. Any final thoughts, B? Before we wrap this up?
Yeah,
I got you taking the edge of my muck.
Yeah. Go ahead, B.
I just gotta give a shout out to the people that were in the comment section.
Yeah, definitely do that. Yeah.
Hey, Sabrina was in there. That was awesome to see Sabrina in there. She's also another Buffalo Bill fan that we have in our group chat.
Brent, shout out to Brent.
Brent, as always,
always there.
Big Dan starting to come around here. Broski Bear came in here once.
I saw that. He made a JMO comment. Did you pull that one up?
About this one right here? Jameson going to his fourth year.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't see that even happening.
No. Not for JMO, no.
Yeah. And other than that, I appreciate the views. Just subscribe. I know.
Yes, please like and subscribe our show.
Yep. And that's about it. Everybody else have a great day. I'm about to sit here and watch this Michigan State Auburn game. It's 35-30 Auburn. Well, they're about down by 5, so they were down more than that at one point. So.
Monkey, Robbie, Rod, Ron, Sonia. Shout out Lamar. Thank you for coming on the show. Enjoyed having y'all. Please, y'all are welcome to come back. The plan is right now, somewhat-ish, is we're going to have a North debate next show. So that's going to be fun. We're going to have the Whackers, the Queens, and the Dump all on the same show, hopefully. That's going to be fun.
And for you people that are outside of that, that's the Packers, the Vikings, and the Bears.
I already knew who you were talking about. I already knew that. I knew who you were talking about. As soon as you said the Dump, I was like, oh, shit. I was waiting. I knew it was coming up for the other two
for
teams.
some reason, you know how their thing is Bear Down? I just call it the Dump. Bear Dump. I don't know. Pulled something out of my ass.
If I had to say what I truly felt about that, I'll get in trouble. Bear Down.
Everybody knows I hate Chicago, so.
Yeah.
You're fine. All right. Well, thank y'all for coming on the show. Y'all have yourself a blessed
yoga pose or something.
Fuck Chicago.
Thank y'all for coming. All right. Yes, fuck Chicago. Yes. Thank y'all for coming on the show. Loved having y'all. Y'all always welcome back. As always, fuck the Vikings, fuck the Bears, fuck the Packers. We are out. Have a good evening.